And what I want you to say is, I deserve. Now that's all right, but I feel like y'all playing with me. What I need you guys to do is say it like you really mean it. Now look, us here in this room, we have gone through too much as Black women and have been held back for too long. It is time for us to take what we deserve. So when I say deserve, or when I do like this, I want you to say, I deserve, and say it like you mean it. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Love. Peace. To be seen and heard. Now what I want you to do is I want you to turn to 3 people. I want you to look them straight in the eye, but I want you to go to someone you don't know, and I want you to tell them 3 things that you deserve. I want you to give them your first name, your last name, and tell them where you're from. So go to 3 people you don't know, look them straight in the eyes, tell them your first name, your last name, where you're from, and 3 things you deserve in 2018. Yes, that's good. All right. Okay. So I am here to help you to get on the highway of your life so that you can live the life that you deserve. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'll tell you about myself. And actually, I'm a certified life coach, but you know what? What I want to do is I'll tell you more about me in a little bit later. Right now, what's really important for you to know is that you don't get what you deserve. You get what you ask for. That's a quote by Trevor Otts. I'm going to say it again. And this time when I say it, instead of saying you, say I. I don't get what I deserve. I get what I ask for. So you know what that means? That means you got to start asking for what it is that you know that you deserve in 2018. In order to make it happen, you've got to ask for what it is that you deserve. And so you might be wondering, is this even for me? You know, well, I put this together for people that envision their life to be in a different place than what it is now. You thought by this time, man, I would have accomplished so much more. So if you envision, so to live a life that you envision to be full, that is something that you what? Deserve. That's right. Perhaps you're someone that is in a room full of people, but people don't seem to see you. People pass you by. When you speak, no one really hears you. So to live a life of being seen and heard is something that what? I deserve. That's right. That's right. Maybe you have all these possibilities that you see in others, but then when it comes to you, you only see lack. And you know that there's more. So when it comes to living a life full of possibilities for yourself, it is something that what? I deserve. Yes, you deserve that. Perhaps you're someone that's successful. You have a full checklist. All the boxes are checked. However, when you get quiet and still, you know when you're honest with yourself, you're not happy. I'm talking about when you have real talk with yourself. You are not happy. So to live a life full of success and happiness is something that what? I deserve. Yes, you deserve that. And maybe you say, you know what, Trisha? Man, I'm ready. I've been doing stuff, but for some reason, it's just not coming together for me. And every time I try, there's pieces that are missing, and I just don't know what to do. Guess what? You are in a wonderful place because you know what? Having a blueprint for your life is something that what? I deserve. And guess what? I'm going to show you how to get that too. So my name is Trisha Garrett. This is Life You Deserve, Empowered to Live. And so let me tell you just a little bit more about myself. Like I mentioned, I'm a certified life coach. I worked in corporate for a number of years, coaching and doing other things. But can I tell you something that I do that I just absolutely love and I feel honored to do? I'm a cuddler. I'm a professional cuddler. And what that is, I go into the NICU and I cuddle babies. And let me tell you, there's a process. You don't just walk in and start cuddling babies. They have a selection process. And one of the things that I realize is that to be a cuddler, there's a process, and to be a coach, there's also a process with God. And I'm just so grateful that they both picked me. When I think about childbirth, man, I get excited. It's something I've always been fascinated about because I think it's just a miracle, just the giving of life. But sometimes when the babies are born, they're premature, or they just may have some health issues. And when they have the health issues, somebody needs to be there. But the moms can't always be there. And that's where I come in. I get to come in and be there for the babies. And something that I've come to understand is that the things that adults need is pretty much the same as what you need to be as a coach. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I coach. But it's also important to know that for you to live the life that you deserve, it's not extra. It is a birthright. Let me just say that again. It's not extra for you to live the life that you deserve. It is your birthright. It's not something you have to earn. You just got to step into it. And what I want you to do is to know that you're enough and that there's nothing that you need to prove to anyone. That's a quote by Maya Angelou. But what I want you to do, I want you to personalize it. I want you to say that I am enough. And I have nothing to prove to anyone. Just take a moment and pause it because I want you to take that in. I am enough. And I have nothing to prove to anyone. Just take a deep breath as you just really just take that in because that's powerful. Because, well, you know what? Now is the time. Now is the time for you to get in your car, put your foot on the gas, and to get on the highway of your life. And now to get on the highway, there's a minimum and a maximum speed, and you have to at least be going the minimum speed to get onto the highway. And some of you are not even going the minimum speed, and you're wondering, why am I having the challenges that I'm having? Why is this not quite working out? Because you're not going the minimum speed. You gotta go at least the minimum speed, and I can help you to at least go the minimum speed, because once you're on the highway, then we can test it out and see how fast or slow you need to go. But let's at least go the minimum. So earlier, when you went to 3 people and you told them those 3 things that you deserve, so what I want you to do is I want you to take out a piece of paper. Take some time to take out a piece of paper, a pen and paper. And on that paper, what I want you to do is I want you to draw a stick woman, just something really simple, nothing elaborate, because to live the life you deserve is just that. It's just that simple. So now that you have your stick woman, I want you to just write down those 3 things that you said that you deserved in 2018. And as you write those down, what I want you to think about is envision yourself having those things already. And as you envision yourself having those 3 things that you desired, that you deserve to live in 2018, question for you. How does it feel? How does it feel knowing that you are living the life that you deserve? Yeah, take that in. Because now what I want you to do is I want you to draw a line on that same piece of paper, but it's a curvy line. This is juicy, you guys, so hang in there. This is good stuff. Draw a curvy line, okay? Because see, as you're on the highway to living the life you deserve, there's going to be some places that you're going to need to stop by. You may need to stop by Happiness Cafe. I don't know. Maybe you need to stop by Love Diner. Maybe Serenity Mountain. Maybe a Success Boutique. I don't know. What is that for you? Because what I want you to do is I want you to go back and each of those little curves, write down the places that you need to stop by so that you can live the life that you deserve. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, at the end of your line, write life I deserve. Okay, so you have your codes, you're going to write down all the places that you need to stop by, and then at the bottom of your line is life I deserve. Because in 2018, we are doing this. We are making things happen in our life. And as we go on, I'll share with you how we're going to make some of those things happen. But before we do, what I want to do is I want to offer up something to you to help you to get to the life that you deserve. One of the things I want you to do is text in this number, because I want to give you a free gift, basically. It's a free gift that I want to give you. And I want you to text the number. Excuse me, before we text the number, I want you to type in the word deserve. Type in the word deserve and text in 408-872-8040. So text the word deserve to 408-872-8040. And then you're going to receive a free gift from me. What's important also is to know that to live the life that you deserve, there's some things that you got to do. There's some actions that we need to take. And the first one is to take an assessment of your life. I mean, let's really like peel back the onion and say, like, where are you at? Because before you can really move forward, you got to have a clear view of where you're at, so that when you're filling out what you need to do, it's clear. So let's take an assessment of your life. There may be some things that you want to keep. Maybe there's some things you want to not keep or start and stop doing. And perhaps there's some things that you need to do, not just physically do, but emotionally do. Maybe there needs to be some forgiveness that you need to step into. Because in order to do that, that's going to help you to accept where you are with no judgment. Not feeling like I shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of thing. No. It's just clearly just looking at where you're at and assessing it. And then as you walk in the acceptance is going to help to give you the vision so that you can create the best version of yourself. And as you do that, there's people that we need to consider, people that are angels. Can I tell you who my angel is? My angel's name is Momo. Momo is my grandmother. She passed away last year at the age of 98, and probably the most amazing woman that I've ever known, but she just loved me unconditionally. She only seen the great things in me. So who is that in your life? Who sees your greatness? Who is that support person that always speaks life into you? It could be a spouse. It could be a child, one of your kids. Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe it's even the grocery store clerk that you have conversations with on a weekly basis, but she sees you or he sees you and they see your greatness and they're very supportive. So who is that person for you? It's important to know that, because you have to take action, as I mentioned, because there's accountability. Because one of the things I want you to do is go to that person and let them know, hey, I'm on the highway of my life. Things for 2018, I'm living the life that I deserve. And the other thing is, this is like so critical. It's all important, but this is really, really critical, is that you embrace the 7 powers of declaration. Because see, there's a language that we use that makes things happen. I mean, when you think of our country, for example, what was founded on? The Declarations of Independence, that's right. So when we declare things, it's really powerful. other thing that I want you to do is think about what it is when two people come together. Because when two people come together, they do what? There's two really important words that they say. What is it? I do. That's right. So to declare something and then take action can forever change the course of your life. So it's not something that you take lightly. And so one of the first declarations is spirituality. We are spiritual beings, however, we are living in a human body. And so to be able to embrace our spirituality is something that what? I deserve. That's right. It's something that you deserve. In order for you to share affirmations, affirming yourself, to speak life over yourself, to know that the power of life and death is in what? The tongue. So to be able to speak that over yourself, to speak powerful affirmations over yourself is something that what? That's right, I deserve. Yes. You guys are good. You're getting it. Proclamations. Ooh, I love this. Because with proclamations, you stand boldly and you say what it is that you will get. And so to share a bold proclamation is something that what? I deserve. Yes. Yes. And intimacy. Oh my gosh. We as women generally love intimacy. And you deserve that. So to have intimacy is something that what? Yes, I deserve. And when I say intimacy, let me be clear. I'm not talking about sexual intimacy. What I'm talking about is where you are having a stronger, deeper connection with someone. That's the rich, juicy stuff there. And then to be able to say yes to you. Because see, for so many years, I had a hard time saying yes to me. It was easy for me to say yes to others, but not for myself. And there were many times that I didn't speak up. Because in order for me to speak up, that meant that, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was that important. I felt like the other folks in the room had all the good ideas. So to be able to say yes to you is something that you deserve. Yes, yes. And then you just own it. You own it. You take it all in and you own it and you stand in it and you walk it and you live it out. And you're unapologetic about it. And you might wonder, will this work? Absolutely, it will work. But you can do it the hard way. And the hard way would be to continue to do what you're doing, to be frustrated, to have those pieces that you're trying to make come together not come together, to not share the proclamations, the 7 declarations of declarations, to not do that. That's the hard way. However, there is another way that you can do it, and that's the easy way, and I'd love to help you with that. See, because when you step into doing it where you're going to get support, where you're going to have someone there to walk you through it, that's something that you deserve. So what I want you to do is just know that I want to be there to support you. But more than that, if you're here at the conference, I want to connect with you. If you're online, I want to connect with you. Because see, when I go into the NICU units, one of the things that I know is that God has given me an assignment. And as He's given me that assignment, I know what those babies need. I know they need love. I know that they need for me to know, to be in the moment with them. And that's how I show it for my clients. It's like our wings. Sometimes our wings, we find our wings, and sometimes our wings find us. For me, the babies really help me to find I'm just so grateful that I've been blessed to be able to bless the gift of God, which is the babies and my clients. So what I want you to do is, because I want to connect with you, and so what I want you to do is, I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number to text me. And just in that, I want you to tell me what it is that you deserve. The number is 408. This is my personal number, so it's a different number from the other one. It's 408-707-6313. And I want you to give me your first name and your last name. And I want you to tell me what it is that you deserve. So text me so that we can connect while we're here, for those of you that are in the room. And if you're online, we can connect online. But I want to have a conversation with you. Because I want to know, maybe you just want to know what it is to be a cuddler. Maybe you want to know how to get onto the highway of your life. Maybe you want to know, how do I bring things all together, Trisha, to make it work? Whatever it is that you want to talk about to get you to the life you deserve, let's sit down and have a conversation about it. Let's have a heart-to-heart conversation about it. So text the word deserve to 408-707-6313, because I want to hear from you so that we can connect. Now, I want you to stand up one more time. Because when it comes to love, it is something that what? I deserve. That's right. When it comes to peace, it's what? Something that I deserve. Yes. When it comes to being seen and heard, it's what? Something that I deserve. That's right. Listen. My name is Trisha Garrett, and I'm coming to you from Tampa, Florida. Life you deserve and power to live. Thank you. So let's just... Yes. Now what I want you to do, go back to those same 3 people. I just thought about this. Go back to the same 3 people. Now, instead of telling them what you deserve, I want you to tell them, I got what I deserve. Yes, go and tell them, I got what I deserve. That's right. Find 3 more people and tell them. Share with more people. Tell them what you got. Tell them I got what I deserve. In 2018, yes, it's happening. It is going down. Yes, let them know. Party a little bit. Yeah. Hello, ladies. Black Woman Takeover. Woo, 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 woo. Yes. It is our year. And so my name is April Harmon. I'm going to be talking to you today about healing your relationship with your money.
so my background, just to give you a little bit about myself, I'm from Texas. I was raised in a small town, Paris, Texas. I live in the Dallas area now. I'm a certified financial social worker as well as a realtor. And so what I do is I work in social work. I work with the homeless and help them find permanent housing. And in my real estate business, I really focus on not only just selling affordable homes to new homeowners and helping sellers market their homes, but I also help people. I also advocate for fair housing to end housing discrimination, which this year marks the 50th year anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. So again, woohoo on that. And a lot of that has to do with the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, who we just celebrated his birthday. So I want to go into, I chose the subject of healing our relationship with money because as I work with clients over the years, I've been a social worker for like 14 years, and I've been in real estate for a few years, and everyone that I work with, no matter what their issue is, they have some type of financial problem. So I said, okay, how can we fix this? So I studied, I went back to school because investing in yourself is very important. So I was trying to learn everything I could about money, you know, and budgeting and financial advising and financial empowerment and how can we fix this problem? You know, that's my mission, is trying to solve our financial issues. But one of the things that I learned was that no matter how much you know, there's still some areas that'll cause you to keep making the same mistakes over and over. And so I kept trying to figure out, okay, what is this? What is causing people who have the knowledge, because it's not a knowledge deficit anymore because we live in the information age. We might, because 20 years ago you could say, well, no one taught me how to save money and no one taught me how to invest and no one taught me this and no one taught me that. Now there's information everywhere, right? So we can no longer use lack of information as an excuse, because truthfully, if information and knowledge alone was the answer, then we would be better off. And that's just a fact. But so there has to be something more to this idea of how can we be financially empowered. And so what I'm proposing to you today is to listen with open ears and open hearts, because there's some things that you probably don't realize are affecting your relationship with your money. And you know that it may be affecting other areas of your lives, or maybe you don't know. But so today we're going to kind of dig a little deep and get into that hole that a lot of us want to cover up or we're in denial about, okay? So when we get into matters of the heart, we deal with how do we start our relationship with money? It starts off like most relationships that we start out, right? It's an idea first, a fantasy, a dream, right? You have an idea of what your dream spouse is going to look like. You have an idea of what you want your wedding to look like. You have an idea of what you want your marriage to look like. You have an idea of what you want your career to look like. You have an idea of how big you want your business to go, how much money you make. You have a dream. You have an idea. You have a vision, right? And that is what is kind of influencing your behaviors a little bit. The problem, though, is just like, eventually at some point in your walk, in your relationship with your money, or in any relationship, you realize that it's not like what you saw on TV. It's not a Hollywood version. It's not all glitz and glamour. Marriage is not all glitz and glamour. Being a parent is not all glitz and glamour, right? Being a business owner is not all glitz and glamour. It's hard work if you want it to be sustained over a long period of time. Okay? So if you're just in it for a quickie, this probably is not for you. But if you really are somebody who really wants to make a permanent change and transformation in your relationship with your money, then keep listening. Because just like when you start a relationship, everyone, there's the honeymoon phase, right? Same way with your relationship with your money. When you make that first dollar, a lot of people, a lot of business owners, they put that first dollar up, they frame it, put it on the wall, because you remember that first customer. I never forget when I was doing hair, which was my early career, and I had my own salon. I never will forget the feeling of, having my first client. That was so special to me. And so it's this, you just never forget that. That's with any relationship. You don't forget the first kiss. You don't forget your first love. And a lot of times you just don't forget when you first started making money. Okay, so, but at some point, real life starts to happen. So at some point, real life starts to happen, it sets in, and then you realize that not only is this not what you thought it was going to be, but not only is the honeymoon over, but now you have some real issues that you have to deal with, right? You didn't think that when you made all the money that you were going to spend all the money. You really thought, you really had it in your mind. You had a goal of saving money. You had a goal of, you know, the buying a house and having the kids and being putting aside money so they could go to college or having money to start a business. And you had all these great ideas. That was your dream. That was your vision. But life started happening. You didn't count on that illness that wiped out your savings. You didn't count on the fact that when you went to work, they were going to take out taxes and health insurance money and all this other stuff. And so you really weren't going to bring home what they put on paper you make. It's about a few thousand less than what you actually thought you were going to bring home. And then the cost of living, it just keeps going up and up and up, and you weren't counting on that because you already had a plan in your mind for what you were going to do with that raise that you got or that bonus that you got. And all of a sudden the baby got sick or somebody went to jail and you had to bail them out, and mama got sick. Now I got to help mama, got to take care of daddy. Real life starts to happen. Oh, I got another baby coming on. All these different things. Oh, I wasn't planning on getting that divorce. I wasn't planning on having to give her half of my retirement for every year we were married. I mean, I wasn't planning on foreclosing on my house. These are things that happen to people. This is real life stuff. So then this is when the rose-colored glasses comes off. And you have to say, okay, what is this? This is not what I thought. So depending on how you're wired and depending on your relationship with money, it causes some people to go in overdrive because you begin to think, well, if I make more money, because that's what the world tells you. If I make more money, then it's going to answer all these problems, right? If I make more money, I can afford better health care. If I make more money, then I can feed all the kids, so it doesn't matter how many I have. If I make more money, I can afford my house. If I make more money, I can afford to take care of mom and dad when they get older. You start, if I make more money, I can start my own business. So you start thinking that money is the solution to all your problems. This is where the road splits for people. This is where you really will either, one or two things will happen. You will either go the wrong way or the right way. You will either go down a destructive path to pursue money that never ends, because money, the pursuit of money and the pursuit of wealth never ends. It's a never-ending journey. Because when you make $50,000, then you want to make $150,000, and then you want to make $250,000, and then you just lose sight. You can quickly lose sight. And I'm not here to discourage you from having financial goals. What I'm here to do is help you check into your heart and really check your value system and really understand, well, so what is really driving me? Is it the money really? Is money really going to solve my problems? Is money really going to help me feel better about myself? Is money really going to help me be a better person? Is money really going to solve my marital problems? Is money really going to solve my health issues? Is money really going to solve the problems in the community? These are things that you have to ask yourself. As you grow, as you mature, you'll begin to see these things. I know for me, for a long time, I thought that if I made more money, then this is my story. I'm telling you my story. Because I always thought for a very long time that money could solve any problem that came up. See, when I was a kid, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. But I was an observant child. I was a studious child. Smart, top of the class, you name it. I'm still in school getting my doctoral degree now. I'm a firm believer that education is key to empowerment. It's one of the keys. And so as I observe people around us, because remember I told you your relationship with money starts with this idea that you get, right? The fantasy that you get it, and that starts as a kid. So for me looking around, I would notice that problems always have some type of financial consequence. Whether you're talking about the problems at home, the problems at school, the problem in the community, a problem in a marriage, a problem even at church, because churches are always asking for money. So we can't leave the church out. So business, I mean, you can't start a business without some money. So all of these things, your clients have money. Guess what? They have money issues too. And a lot of business owners need to realize that your clients also have financial problems. Instead of vilifying your clients, which a lot of people do, and a lot of church leaders do this too, and I don't like to hear that, but you vilify your clients as if they don't have their own needs, they don't have their own problems. They do. And so if you're going to serve the public, and if you're a business owner, you serve the public. You have to understand not only your relationship with money, because your relationship with money is going to influence how you treat your clients, how you treat your followers, how you treat the people who you have influence over, how you treat your employees, how you treat your significant other, how you even treat your kids, how you treat your family. Your relationship with money affects all of those relationships. And I'm going to challenge you, if you have a lot of problems in relationships, look at your relationship with money. That's what this is about. Look at how you view money. Look at how money makes you feel. You know, for some people, if they get money, they swell up. Their pride goes up like 10 notches. You know, ego is inflated. Just a little extra money and your ego is inflated as if you are the richest person in the world. You just got like an extra $5,000. For some people will harm you. They will commit a crime against you for money. Some people will neglect their children or even abuse their children or put them in a situation where they are being abused, pimped out, prostituted, all this stuff. This is really what's going on. Because I told you before in my introduction, my background is social work. I deal with real life issues. I don't deal with the Hollywood stuff because I see every day what's really going on. Not the stuff you see in the media, because the media does not really talk about the stuff that really goes on. So every once in a while when it's an extreme case, yes. Like the case in California where they were chaining the kids to the bed, that's crazy to me. But that's the kind of stuff that I deal with every day, just crazy stuff. So I can't just go by, well, everybody just needs to learn how to save money. Well, because if knowledge alone was the answer, then by now we would all be better off. At least some of us, more of us would be. But statistics say that 75% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 75%. 75%. So no matter what anybody sells you, no matter what dream is sold to you, understand that just because a person is making $1 million a year doesn't mean that they're really any better off financially than a person that's making $20,000 a year. Because you know why? Because if their relationship with money is not healed or not put in alignment with the Word of God, because that's the foundation of my message, then what happens is you're going to get more debt. So you can be making $1 million or multi-million dollars or even $1 billion. But if you have $2 billion worth of debt or $2 million worth of debt and you're worth $1 million, then you're in the same position as the person that makes $30,000 a year and is in $60,000 worth of debt. You're in the same position. The only difference is that you have more material things on this side. But the person over here is in the same position financially. And that's in the negative, which is most Americans are in the negative. That's financial bondage, financial slavery. That's what that is. And so that's why I'm talking to you about this today, because I don't have anything to sell you today. I really want you, no matter what business you're in, what industry you're in, you have to deal with money every day. Even if you don't have a business, even just as a client, just as a customer, just as a person, a citizen, you have to pay for a service every day. all money is a medium of exchange. That's all money is. There's a scripture that says you can't serve two masters. You can't serve God and you can't serve money. Now, a religious-minded person may think, well, why doesn't it say you can't serve God and the devil, or God and Satan, or God and the enemy, right? Or light and, it's saying you can't serve God and money, and I'm not even emphasizing anything other than the fact that if the word of God says you have to make a decision between serving God and serving money, that lets you know the significance of your relationship with money. It can have a God-like control over your life without you even knowing it. Doesn't matter about how much money that you're making, because like I said, the person making $20,000 can be serving money just like the person making $2 million. It doesn't matter about your socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter. It's what drives you every day. When you get up in the morning, who do you worship, money or God? What drives every decision that you make is money and decision. The food that you eat, how you treat your kids, what school they go to, what house you live in, what neighborhood you live in, what kind of car you drive, what kind of friends you choose, what type of opportunities, what kind of events do you show up to? What is your driving force? Do you have relationship problems because you have money problems? And I'm not just talking about your debt. I'm not just talking about your bad credit. I'm talking about, do you love money? Are you greedy? Do you believe that money is more important than people? See, all of that stuff comes from early heartbreaks, pain, disappointment. It could have came through abuse, neglect, disappointment, somebody let you down. All of those things can cause us to have dysfunctional relationships with money. And as a result of that, it influences how not only we deal with money, but also how we deal with people. How you deal with your clients. Are you mean to your clients? Are you bitter to your clients? Do you talk down to your clients? You get mad. Social media has made monsters out of people. You are on social media talking about people not liking your stuff. Really? Are you an adult or a child? That has to do with what's in your heart. That, whether you realize it or not, that same attitude is influenced by your relationship with your money. And you may be wondering, okay, well, what are you talking about? How is that so? How is this possible? What do you mean, my relationship with my money? Just like a relationship with anyone else, including God, you can have a dysfunctional relationship or you can have a healthy relationship. It's okay to make money. Making money is not wrong in and of itself. Worshiping money is where you get out of alignment and you start bringing negative things into your life, whether you realize it or not, because of an unhealthy alignment with the Word of God, with money. See, the thing about money is, it first of all, it will not solve all of your problems. Now, when you die, everything that you have, all your wealth, all your possessions, all of those things will go to someone else. You can't take it with you. On the other hand, God, when you die, there's things that He's still there. There's an afterlife that He will continue to take care of you. That alone is one limitation of money. The other thing is that money can't heal you. Money can't heal your pain. I don't care how much you make, it's not going to erase what happened to you. It's not. I don't care how many Jordans you buy, it's not going to erase your negative self-image. I don't care how much money you make, it's not going to make you feel better about yourself unless you feel better about yourself without the money. So in order for you to really start the healing process, you have to make peace with what has happened to you that has caused you to be bitter. Because that's influencing your relationship with your money. You may say, okay, well, how do I know? How do you spend money? Do you spend it mad? Do you spend it? Does the thought of money make you angry? When somebody calls and asks you for money, do you get angry? You start cursing, you start yelling, you get mad? Well, that's a sign that you got some real bitterness about money. Your relationship with money is one of bitterness. Just like you see some marriages where They don't ever get along. All they do is argue, fuss, and fight. And that's how a lot of people's relationship with money is like that. You go to work and everything that you make, you have to give it to somebody else. That's slavery. That's bondage. The Bible says in Proverbs that the borrower is slave to the lender. Debt is not healthy. There's good debt and of course there's bad debt and all that. I understand that. Doesn't erase the fact that you're still slave to the lender until you pay them off. Till you pay them off, that's still, you still are obligated to them. You still owe them. So when you go to work or when you serve a client and you make money, however many people you owe, they got to get theirs first. They're supposed to. You're supposed to give them back their money. It also says if you don't pay back your debts, then you're evil. That's what it says in the Bible. I don't know. But I didn't say that now. I'm not calling you evil. So I'm saying that money has there is a relationship. How you spend it. Some people, as soon as you get it, you give it away. Soon as you get it, it goes from your hand to somebody else. And that's your relationship. Because there's an issue here about your value, your self-worth. Whenever money is just passing through your hands like that, check to see is there a self-value, self-worth issue. Do you believe that you're worthy? Right? That's one of the limiting beliefs, that you don't feel worthy to receive money. Let somebody else get it. Yeah, they deserve it because they did good, but I remember what I did and I messed up, and you start thinking about all the mistakes that you've made, so you really don't believe that you deserve to have it. So everything that you do, no matter what you do, you can't acknowledge the fact that you deserve anything, including God's love. So you just keep going around and around in circles. Again, that's a form of slavery, right? Another limiting belief is this feeling of this being an under earner, right? Someone who has a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, and a lot of abilities, but you don't see the value in them. And so you never earn what your fullest potential is. You're the person that goes on a job and you know what your skills are worth and you know what the market demands for that, but you accept $5 less just because you're so grateful that this person will give you an opportunity rather than trying to even negotiate. You don't even feel that you're valuable enough to negotiate your salary or your prices for your products and services. Not everyone, you can't work at every job just like you can't serve every client in the world. So, and you have to be, at some point, you have to be okay with that. But as long as you think more is what you need to be satisfied or to be saved or to be helped or to be empowered, then you get off task, you get out of alignment. And so you have to realign yourself with your core values. And it's easy to get away from your core values, right? But we have to go back to our core values and let that be the gauge. Rather than letting money be the gauge or the potential for profit be the gauge, is it in alignment with my core value? That's the key to any determinant. Is this opportunity for me? My core value is based on the Word of God. So anytime that I've ever taken advantage of an opportunity that was presented to me, and it was not in alignment with the Word of God, and I did it anyway, I suffer for it. I suffer for it. In some way, I suffer for it. And in the times where I made decisions that were in alignment with the Word of God, I prospered for it. And so I'm encouraging you to utilize that strategy when you make decisions. I've learned now that it's okay to say no. I don't care what they tell you. It's okay to say no if it's not in alignment with your core values. Right now, you get bombarded with opportunities. Bombarded. And the more successful you are, the more bombarded you're going to be with people trying to sell you a dream. That's why it's important for you to understand and have a solid foundation of who you are and understand your values and know your worth. Know whose you are. Because money, again, is not always the only factor. How many lives are you? Because see, business is not just about making money. Some people will argue that, but it's not, because a business is, you again, it's a public service or product that you're providing to the public, and but it's not about the product and the money that you're making or selling from that product. It's about you are meeting the needs of people. You are servicing the needs of people. That is what business is about. When you are called, some people are called to be. If you listen to this, I believe that you are anointed for business. You are called to business because God needs more people who will stand on their core values, stand on the word of God, and trust in God to help their businesses grow rather than lean into the world's understanding. And so you have to understand that if you are going to provide a product or a service, it's not just about you making money. That should not be what's on your mind when you start a business. Oh, you saw what somebody else did, so I'm going to start it too. Somebody else started that business, and I see that they made some money, okay, I'm going to start it too. That's a copycat spirit. A lot of people, social media has made copycats out of everybody. You have to stay in alignment with your core values. So if you are providing a product or service, then it's important for you to understand that your product and your service is about meeting the needs of people. Okay? Now, what I see is, I observe a lot, and I see people starting businesses, hobbies, side hustles, whatever you want to call it. And then they get mad at their customers because they don't buy, or they get mad at the public for not buying their product or service. You need to check yourself. You need to check your heart. Because if you have the idea that your customers owe you something, or that anybody in the public is obligated to buy your product, obligated to buy your service, then you're going into it with the wrong mindset. And that again is a heart issue. It's not just a thought issue, that's a heart issue. You feel entitled. A lot of people feel entitled, and because you feel entitled, you have a arrogant attitude, you have a prideful attitude, right? That spirit of pride is what's running your business. So you have to understand how all these issues, and that can come from a lot of stuff as a kid, right? Feeling like you weren't heard, feeling undervalued. A lot of that stuff plays over into how, again, we deal with money, and how we deal with people, because they go hand in hand. So you under earn, you never reach your fullest potential because you don't believe that you even deserve to reach your fullest potential. You undervalue all of your gifts and talents, even though God gave them to you. The God, the creator of this universe, gave you these gifts and gave you these talents. And I hear a lot of people say, well, that's not my gift. That's not what I do. I don't want to do that. Well, okay. You have to tune in to what's in here. You have to tune out the noise and tune into the word of God, tune into God, and really tune into your heart, and really figure out what's on the inside of you. Because if you haven't figured out by now that money is not going to solve all your problems, then do some soul searching and figure that out. Money is not going to heal what happened to you. Money is not. And a lot of people, because they've been hurt in the past, they use money as a form of revenge. You know, I'm going to show them, have you heard people say this? I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to prove all them wrong. I was dating this guy and I will never forget, and he said, he's never gone to any of his class reunions. And I said, well, why? And he said, because I'm not where I want to be yet. And when I get where I want to be, then I'm going to go back and throw it all in their faces. They told me I was never going to be nothing and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, why does it matter if you said you don't like them. You said you don't care what they think about you. So why would you let that be a motivation for anything that you do? But, it just gave me insight into the fact that that's how a lot of us act. That is the motivation for a lot of people. Is this, I'm going to go back and show whoever hurt you, whoever it was. Maybe you were bullied, molested, abused, neglected, abandoned, whatever. But you want to show whether it was your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, your classmate, whoever. You're trying to prove to someone that you made it, right? That's the thing. You feel like, I need to show you, I need to prove to you that I made it. And you're using money as your gauge. Your thinking is out of alignment. Bring it back. Because if you are allowing that to be your motivation, you're gonna disappoint yourself. That's what's gonna happen. And what is gonna end up happening is you're gonna get in more and more and more debt because it becomes about trying to prove something, right? You're trying to prove your worth instead of acknowledging the fact that God gave you your worth, right? He died on the cross for your sins. So that alone tells you your value. But anytime you get outside, right, you get away from or out of alignment, then it's easy for you to start thinking it was something else. You were self-made, or it's the money, or it's something else that made you. It was God that made you. He predestined you. He knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. He decided what he wanted you to do with your life, and then he made you. He made you based on the assignment that he already had for you. Everything about you was designed to facilitate what he already spoke into existence. And you have to understand that. That's why it's important to be in alignment with God rather than money. And so we have all these things, right? So I've talked about how things from the past affect us. And not only do they affect us, so, all of these things are driving a lot of things. But then when you get into your relationships with people, for example, there was a study conducted on domestic violence victims. And it asked the people who stayed in the relationships, like after they got out and, were safe and everything, what made you stay as long as you stayed? 75% of them said it was for financial reasons. They didn't feel like they could make it without this person. They were financially dependent on that person that was abusing them. They felt like they didn't have any skills or they weren't marketable. All of these thoughts, but it was all related to their relationship with money. And so because of their relationship with money, they were accepting the abuse in their relationships. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, economic abuse. Some people are in relationships with people that as soon as you get paid, they show up at your job and they want you to give them that check, and you better give it to them. If you don't give it to them, there's going to be consequences. And then they might give you some and they might not. And then what are you going to do? You can't leave because they took all your money. That's economic abuse. That's happening more and more and more. That's what you see in prostitute pimp relationships, which also is on the rise, right here in your backyard. So understand and know that your relationship with money affects people in so many different ways. It affects your relationships. So when you see someone in a relationship, an abusive relationship, and you wonder, like, what is going on? Why would she be with him? Why won't she leave him? Ask her or understand or try to think about their relationship with money. Think about your relationship with money. If you were in that situation, what caused you to stay? Was it money? Was it because you felt like you couldn't make it without that person? These are areas of your life that you have to really deal with. Because just like it can happen in an intimate partner relationship, it can happen on a job. You ask people, a lot of people go to work at jobs that they do not like because they need that paycheck. Just being real, they need the paycheck. They hate the job. They don't provide good service. They have low performance ratings. They show up with an attitude every day, but they won't quit. They won't even go look for another job. You have skills, obviously, because you have a job. So what is preventing you from finding something that is more suitable, that is more satisfying and gratifying? But, it's your relationship with money. It's your relationship with your money. That's what's causing you to be in those stressful situations. Which leads me to the next point. Okay. It leads me to the next point. Your relationship with money also causes financial stress. And that, according to the American Psychological Association, financial stress is one of the leading causes of stress in America. So I'm saying all this to say that your relationship with money, it not only affects you mentally, but it affects socially, it affects all your relationships, but it also affects your relationship with God, right? Because you have to make a decision, which one are you going to put your faith in, money or God? And that's ultimately what it is at the end of the day. So I appreciate everyone for listening. I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank everyone for joining me. And if you want to reach out to me, you can find me on every social media out there under Coach April, and it's Coach April with 2 L's, all one word, on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also you can go to my website at April Harmon, April with 2 L's, Harmon, HARMON.org. Again, like I said, if you're in the Dallas area and you're looking for housing, affordable housing, or you are like a new beginner in real estate investing and you really want some sound advice from a realtor with a heart such as myself, then you can reach out to me. My number is 469-843-0327. You can email me at aharmon@pioneer-realty.com. That's aharmon@pioneer-realty.com. Also, for those who've attended today, if you're interested, I also will give you a free copy of my book, which is on Amazon, by the way. It's called Overcoming the Addiction to Money. And it uses the scriptural foundation to walk you through and give you insight into how being addicted to money can affect you and in ways that you can overcome that addiction. So if you email me at aharmon@pioneer-realty.com, then I will send you a free copy of the ebook today. Or if you want the manual copy, you can go to Amazon.com and look it up. It's Overcoming the Addiction to Money. And also, if you're looking for someone to do speaking or conduct any other classes or workshops, then you can also reach out to me, and I would love to come to your event or your church and help people to understand the connection between scripture and financial recovery, financial healing, financial deliverance. That's something I'm really passionate about, and that's, I feel, my calling to help economically empower us from a spiritual perspective. So thank you again for tuning in. Enjoy the conference. There's a lot of great women here. I enjoyed you again. Reach out to me on social media at Coach April with 2 L's. Thanks.
Wow. Give this April a hand. What an amazing job that she has done sharing information. And we're so excited to be here in Tampa, Florida, experiencing one of the most amazing things for this epic 2018. You know, how to have an epic 2018 starts with a plan. And oftentimes we get into 2018 or the beginning of the year and start thinking about everything that we want to accomplish in the year. But things happen to people who are prepared. And so my name is Donetta Watson. I am the launch strategist, and I teach people how to prepare for the great opportunity that's waiting for them. And opportunities come to people who are prepared. And I often say that preparation meets opportunity, and it produces prosperity. Again, preparation plus opportunity equals prosperity. And so it takes a plan to walk into all of the opportunities that are waiting for us. And we often say opportunities are all around us. Each and every day there are opportunities. But if we don't have a plan, that preparation and that opportunity won't collide. They'll just pass one another on the roadside. So it's critical for us to have a plan and to be open and engaging opportunities as they come in and through our lives. Some opportunities are for us, and some opportunities are for people that we know. But if you don't know what's for you, you'll let it walk right past you. And if you know what's for you, and an opportunity comes your way, and it's not aligned with the plan that God has given you for your life, then you'll try to grab it and it's not yours. You'll try to implement it and it doesn't belong to you. And so you have to know what it is that God has called you to do. You have to prepare to step into what he's called you to do. And you have to be open for the opportunities. And you have to be willing to hand an opportunity to someone else when it's their time and it's their season. So, Black CEO Womenprenuer Conference has started out with a bang. And for those of you who are watching online, you are getting some amazing information from some gifted, talented, seasoned, prepared women who have come here on a mission to impart into the lives of the people that are here. Each and every hour, there is something happening. If you cannot stay engaged throughout the day, record it. Or come back later, share it with someone. That gives you the ability to come back and grab the link later and finish watching. This is about imparting and impacting and transforming the lives of each and every person that is part of this movement through the Black CEO. See, it takes something to get something. It takes commitment to transform. And if we stay on the journey, our lives are going to be someplace else at the end of 2018. So we are so very excited for what is happening. I'm excited to be one of the speakers this year, to be able to share what God has put in my heart for this time, this hour, this season, and for the prepared people. So I'm looking forward to impacting more of your lives. I know there are amazing speakers that are coming each and every hour to share with you what they have, what God's given them on their journey, and so that you can prepare yourself that 2019, you're going to be here in this room. And in 2019, you'll be someone standing on this platform and imparting into someone else's life. See, millionaires have stories to tell. And so I'm decreeing that I'm a millionaire. And so every millionaire has a story. And we have to give back what we've been freely given: information, knowledge, insight, wisdom. And so this conference is about freely giving back to those who are ready to receive. Not every person is ready, but we're praying that next year this time, through all that you're going to receive and through all that you're going to hear throughout these next 3 days, that your life will be transformed and you'll be someplace else, experiencing something totally different in your life by the end of this year. See, you can't do things today. A seed doesn't go into the ground today and produce a harvest today. The seed has to go into the ground. It has to die. Then it breaks the soil. And then a blade is seen. And then it produces a harvest. That's a 5-part transformation. So when you get knowledge today, don't think that you're going to jump up tomorrow and everything's going to be exactly the way it should be. That's why I'm a launch strategist, because I teach you how to put a plan in place. And I teach you how to walk that plan out so that at the end of the journey, you'll have completed everything that God has ordained you to complete from the day you were conceived in your mother's womb. And so you are the seed. We ask you to put yourself in the ground. And for a season of time, based on what you're wanting to accomplish in the earth realm, you're going to die. You're going to lay there in that soil. And you're going to, as that seed is in the soil, it is soaking up all the nutrients from the soil. And for a period of time, you got to stop and you got to die and you got to start absorbing nutrients from the soil the atmosphere, the environment that you're in, training, mentoring, coaching, go back to school if it means it. Do the things necessary to build you up on the inside so that when it's time for you to break open, the struggle, the seed begins to transform. It's a struggle to transform from a seed to a blade. Now, if the soil is hard, that blade has to penetrate through that hard soil. That's a battle. That's a fight. That's a struggle. But it makes it through that soil, and the farmer then begins to see a blade, and he knows that soon there's going to be a harvest. So even in our own lives, as we begin to make that transition, there's a struggle. There's some fight. There's some pushing away the soil. There's some things that has to happen. There's change that has to come into our lives for that blade to penetrate above the soil so that there can be growth and there can be a harvest. So in our own lives, we go through each and every form of that transformation. Not everybody's going to understand. They're going to want you to stay that old person that you used to be. And so you have to fight through all of the naysayers and say, that's just, oh, I remember them when. That's the fight. Because when you make up in your mind, you want more, you're going to have to fight through those who want you to stay who you used to be so they can remain comfortable with you. Because when you change, you're not going to fit in with that anymore. When you realize God's given you a higher purpose, you're not going to be the girl that want to go to the mall or the club all the time when you got money to make and things to do and lives to transform. You won't have time for that anymore. And so the struggle will be, can I do this alone? See, there's nobody pushing away the soil for the seed to come forth. It has to move it itself. The farmer doesn't come and turn the soil over after the seed has been planted. The seed has to fight through the soil and manifest above the soil. And so that transformation each of us have to do. And then once the blade has made itself above the soil, then there's things the farmer does to protect it so that it can grow. And so in that process, some of you are the seed that's been planted in the soil. Some of you are dying in the soil. Some of you are in that process of you're making that fight, that transition from being under the soil to the blade above the soil. And some of you are growing and maturing so that you can be a harvest for others. So wherever you're at in that process, from seed to being a harvest, it takes a plan. It takes a commitment. It takes diligence. It takes steadfastness. But most importantly, it takes a word from God. Because when God tells you this is what he's called you to do, this is what he's prepared you to do, this is what he's allowed you to be conceived to do, there's a level of confidence that no matter what happens through that process of being a seed to becoming a harvest, you won't quit. Nobody can talk you out of it. Nobody can make you feel like you're in the wilderness all by yourself while everybody's over there having a good time. You're on this pathway by yourself. It won't matter to you because you'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're on the pathway that God has called you to be on. And nothing will move you and nothing will shake you and nothing will change your heart because everything happens in the heart. And nothing will cause you to change your mind on the purpose and the plan that God has for your life. And no matter what you go through, and you're going to go through some things because the enemy will do everything in his power to prevent you from allowing the word of God to become true. See, that's the battle. He's always saying, hath God said. And he'll come to you and say, did God really tell you you're going to be a millionaire? Did God really tell you that you got something to do? Did God really tell you you got a purpose and he has a plan for your life? Oh, you're just so-and-so. God didn't tell you that. You just made that up. You dreamed that after you ate that pizza and those pickles that night. You had that nightmare because that's not what God said. And if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt the voice of God when it speaks to you, you'll tell that voice to shut up and be silent. And you'll keep moving. You'll keep clearing the soil. You'll keep struggling through whatever you have to do to get past whatever obstacle is there and produce a harvest. And that is what all of what we're doing through the Black CEO movement, the Womenprenuer movement, your local Black CEO chapters, everything, the Black CEO morning show, everything that we're doing is to give you the concepts, the strategies, the mindset, the transformation to stay on course until you become a harvest. Now let's talk about what happens when you become a harvest. When you become a harvest, you become food for other people. So it's no longer about you. Boom. It's about everybody else, the lives that you are going to impact and impart. So when you become a harvest, people come to eat from you. They come to get knowledge from you, information from you. They come to glean what God has imparted into you that will benefit their lives. And so there are women here today that they are harvest. They've gone through the process from seed to dying, to transforming, to breaking through the soil, to growing and maturing, and now they're food for many. And they're here imparting to you what God has given them, and it's blessing your life. But what I want you not to lose sight of, that that's your calling too. That he's given you something that you must do with your life. And so today you may be the seed. And I hope I've shared with you the process to becoming a harvest. Food for others, to bless their lives, transform their lives, and take them somewhere they never thought they'd see themselves going. So, women, men, those of you watching this amazing process of transformation, thank you so very much. And we are so excited to be able to be food for you during this season, this epic 2018. God bless you, and we will see you again real soon.
My name is Charmin Y. Anderson. I am the CEO of C&A Enterprises, where we start, market, and brand nonprofit organizations. I'm also the author of Amazon bestselling book, Behind My Smile, Every Woman's Worst Nightmare. Now, the interesting thing is that forever, it seems like I have been trying to figure a way to separate the two entities. C&A Enterprises from Charmin Y. Anderson. And then I realized that there's no way I could separate the two because Charmin Y. Anderson is the reason why C&A Enterprises exists. Let me explain. The truth is, you know what? I really just want to be transparent. Do you guys mind if I be transparent for a moment? I just want to kind of lay it out there for you guys to understand how it is I'm able to maneuver the way that I do. A lot of times people look at me all the time and they say, oh, Charmin, you inspire me so much. Oh, Charmin, I just think you like a bunch of motivation. I just love your energy. I just love who you are as a person. I just think you're great. I think you're amazing. And the reason why they say that stuff to me because they know that on the surface level that I survived 2 strokes. They know that I have survived cancer twice as well. Actually, right now, I'm in remission right now, but now I got good hair. Y'all see that? I got good hair now. I got good hair now, thank you, cancer. However, to me, when they hear about my story, to me, those are surface wins. They don't understand what I've actually lost. They just can see things of what they know. But they have no idea of what it felt like for me to be here now and where I came from. Let me explain. My favorite color was purple. I had this really cute little princess little nightgown. I used to walk around. I used to skip around in it. And it was my favorite nightgown. It's my favorite nightgown. But it stopped being my favorite nightgown because monsters would come in my room in the middle of the night. So now I hate purple. People look at me and they say, Charmin, I don't understand what it feels like. See, I have been conditioned to lie my whole entire life. I just stopped lying a couple of years ago. I had to stop lying because I couldn't no longer continue to go in position and move in the way that I was moving because nothing was changing. It was like I was going around in the same circle and I could not understand why. Let me go a little deeper. Because I was conditioned to lie for all of those years, it made me not be able to realize what love was. So whenever I thought love had presented itself, it was all lies because I never knew what love was. I only knew that it would come in the form of a monster in the middle of the night in my purple princess nightgown. So as I got older and began to get older and go on my own, what I did realize is that when I fell in love with the wrong guy. I loved him so much because to me he was like my knight in shining armor. Like he was going to be the person that was going to protect me because won't nobody going to come for Charmin because he was going to be right there to beat him up because he's going to protect me. But what I didn't realize is that same guy that I fell in love with will be the same guy that locked me in the closet for 3 days. See, people look at me as being an overcomer, as you know, because I beat cancer twice, and because I overcame strokes. They look at me and it's like, oh, Charmin, you're winning, but you don't understand what I lost. I woke up one day in a hospital, beaten half to death, to only be told that, Charmin, your kids died. Nobody understands what that feels like. So yes, I may have beat cancer, but you don't understand the ramifications that it took on my life to wake up in the middle of not even remember giving birth to 2 beautiful girls that I never had the opportunity to bury. I never had the opportunity to say goodbye to because it was stolen from me. And I lived in that boat for 20 years. Until one day I got tired. I got tired of trying to fix my life. I got tired of trying to be in the same position. I got tired of going in endless relationship. I got tired of not even going anywhere, the same type of jobs. I wasn't even paying my own living kids any attention because I was still stuck. So in versus me dealing with my issues, I put it on the back shelf. I put it on the back shelf because it was easier for me to deal with it back there versus having to deal with it in front of me. So I created my own weapon, which is my smile. I'm known for that. People's like, oh my goodness, you got the beautiful smile ever. You just glistens and you just light up the room. But nobody understands what was behind that smile. Until one day I just said, I've had enough. I had enough. I've had enough. I need to do something different. I need to be somewhere different. I'm in the same place and I'm not going anywhere. So the first thing I needed to do was GPS my location. I needed to find out where I was at right now. Because if I don't know where I'm at right now, how can I ever move? GPS my own location by acknowledging that where I'm at, when I'm landing in right here in the middle, where I'm at now is not the place that I'm supposed to be. I'm struggling here. There's nothing here for me. I've got to figure out how I can loose my wings so that I can fly because I can't stay in this same cocoon forever. So I need to pinpoint my location. I need to find myself. I need to get back to finding who I really am. There's no need for me to lie no more because lying has brought me so much pain. Lying has allowed my kids to grow up and I don't even know who they are because I was afraid. I was afraid to be transparent and allow the world to see who I really was because they would ask me questions of, why did you stay, Charmin? Why are you still? Why did you stay so long? If he was doing all of that to you, couldn't you call someone? Couldn't you go somewhere? Wasn't there anybody that was willing to help you? But when you go in the household, when you grow up in a household and you're taught that whatever goes in your household stays in your household, how do you maneuver from that? How do you express explain to someone that you're in the same situation that you're in now because the person that you thought that loved you was your daddy that was coming in your room in the middle of the night, tearing up your purple princess nightgown. GPS in my location was step one for me. Finding where I'm at in my mess was step one for me. 2, once I got my location on lock, because I can find myself now. I had to turn left, then I had to turn right, then I had to go back this way because I thought I was here on Hoover Street, but I was really on Jonathan Street. So I had to kind of maneuver around to get to my exact location so that I could grab myself. Once I was able to pinpoint my location, then it was time for me to identify and call out the things that was holding me back, that's been holding me back all these years. All these years. You know, I had to acknowledge that stuff. I had to start calling out by name. And the only way I was going to be able to do that is by turning the lights on in my own life. And I thought that I could do it on my own, but it wasn't necessarily that way for me. You know, I thought that I wouldn't have to talk to certain people because having to talk to certain people means that I had to give them the acknowledgement that they played a major part in my hurt because I was trying to protect them. And so me trying to protect them has caused me so much pain because I wouldn't allow them to be who they are. So protecting them, meaning I added extra weight on my shoulders unnecessarily because I believe that it was my duty to protect everyone in my family except for the one person that matters the most. I am no good to myself if I cannot live the life that I'm purposed for. I am no good to myself if I cannot be the greatest version of me. So everything everybody else was getting was what we call the done-a-done version. You know, those old rusty type cars that you just be driving back in the day, that you just do what you gotta do until you can get back. When I'm really a Lexus, so I'm here and I'm a done-a-done, but I'm really a Lexus, but I'm selling for a done-a-done type of car when I'm supposed to be a Lexus, when all I gotta do is call out. So it wasn't really hard. It wasn't really hard to start calling out. But when I started calling out, the backlash started coming. Let me explain to you what that meant for me to turn the lights on my life. I had to start calling out the very things that was holding me back. I had to start calling out the very things that I was afraid of because I was afraid of being judged by the same people that I had been protecting for almost 20 years because I've been conditioned to lie. Now, how can you recondition yourself to lie? I mean, how can you recondition your mind to tell the truth when lying has been your forte for well over 20 years? I had to begin to deal with those things that broke me down the most. And even though sometimes it seems like I was getting hit in the stomach, like I had to call it out because I believe that you give it a name, that means you're bringing it to the surface. That means you can what? Push it on out the way. So I had to start dealing with self-esteem. And sometimes when I had to call self-esteem out for what it would gut punch me. And sometimes I would find myself bent over. I would be bent over because I'm so exhausted. But that's okay. But let me just say, it's okay that I'm still bending over because I'm still standing. You're still standing. And sometimes I would have to call out what my worthiness because it was stolen from me. So I don't even know what it feels like to be worthy because I felt like love disappointed me. So every time that I would call it out, I felt like I was fighting all over again. And it just felt like the more I thought I had dealt with stuff, the more other stuff was coming. So it's hard to see yourself through in the dark. But there's always something about being able to know that God still has your back, even in the dark, because He will provide that light for you. So I called it out. I called everything out that destroyed me. I just called it out. And I'm thinking, honestly, that was the hardest part of my life. I thought it was the hardest part of my life, being able to call out the things that destroyed my life, being able to forgive people unnecessarily, being able to understand that they might didn't know what they was doing because they were victims of things themselves. And I didn't understand it, so it was hard for me to be able to do that. So once I GPS my location, and then once I turned the lights on in my own life, I had to give myself permission to heal. You know, I used to think that everything was great in my life at one point in time until I realized that the one thing that was holding me back was guilt. See, I blame myself for my twins' death. I blame myself because I stayed. So it was easy for me to hold on to that guilt and blame everybody else. So when it came down for me to forgive myself, it was the hardest task for me to do because I felt like that death was directly on me. I felt like if I had left, then they would still be here. You know, they would be 17 if they was here. They would be 17 years old. And their name was Kimani and Imani. And it's so interesting that my twin girls, that I never had an opportunity to see them. I never had an opportunity to say goodbye to them. I never had the opportunity to bury them. I woke up from out of a coma for 2 weeks to feel my stomach and there was nothing there. I had to give myself permission to move forward. How do you do that? How do you give yourself to move? How do you give yourself permission to move forward when you feel like everything is all lost? I'm gonna tell you, one step at a time. 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 That's all you gotta do. Take it one step at a time. One step at a time. It seems like my power was coming back. One step at a time. It seems like things were beginning to move forward for me. One step at a time. It seems like, oh, I'm getting to understand why I'm here now. One step at a time. I understand. Oh, you want me to tell you what happened? Let me explain to you what it feels like to lose something. You complaining over insignificant stuff, but you want to sit here and get stuck in all that emotion. See, I was stuck for 20 years in hating myself and unforgiveness. But I had to go through that cycle to be able to move forward. How do you give yourself permission to move forward? You give yourself permission to move forward by shifting. You can't afford to stay in the same place that you were in 2017. You can't afford to be in the same position you were yesterday. You can't afford to not do better than what you were today. Why? Because your future is demanding for you to come forth. How do you do that? How do you be the greatest version of you? You got to turn your GPS on in your own life. My story might not be your story, but I'm sure that you may know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Or parts of my story might be relatable because you're still holding on to stuff that's got you bound when all you got to do is release it and allow your future to come forth. But you are so bent on staying stuck because complacency is something that's familiar. Complacency is something that is so familiar. People think that, oh, because you know what to expect there. Come on, online. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Listen, complacency is something that you know. You're okay with it because you know what to expect. Can't nobody say nothing to you that you don't already know. Can't nobody tell you what's going to happen because you already know. Because you already know what to expect from your surroundings because of your environment. But what happens when you derail yourself off the same track that you've been traveling for over 20 years? You give the opportunity to the greatest versions of you to come alive. You give the opportunity for the greatest version of yourself to breathe. You know, shifting is an action word. It's an action word. It's a verb. Now you have whenever you shift, you just can't just stay complacent. We just learned in the other room that sitting is a new smoking. I don't know about you, I can't be dying from no lung cancer. And I definitely can't be down from sitting. You know what I'm saying? So I have to move. So if I can just shift a little bit more, if I can just shift to the beat of my own creation, then my life will be so much better because I'm the new version of myself. You're the new version of yourself. Online, you're the new version of yourself because you can shift. You can shift. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to be stuck. You choose to be stuck. Now, having to be stuck and choosing to be stuck is two different things. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I need for all of you guys to allow yourself to be the greatest version of you by becoming unstuck. And once you become unstuck, you can tap into your network. Let me show you something. You know, one time, I always do this sometimes. Let me show I want all you guys to come up. I want, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want 4 of you guys to come up. 4 of you guys to come up. Matter of fact, I want you to come up and I want you to take your shoes off. Because I need you to feel the foundation that's up under your feet right now. Because this right here is you right here building your foundation. I need for you to feel the ground because this is your solid area. This is you becoming the greatest version of you right here. And I want to show you something. I want to show you something about the root. Come on up, come on up. Online, these are my peeps right here. I'm going to show them something. What is it? What is it that you do?
Coach, online coach.
What do you do? Oh, I need to talk to you. What is it that you do? Okay, what is it that you do?
Sales, speaking, fitness.
Okay. Now the one thing about shifting is shifting allows you to move, right? And so when you move, you get the opportunity to come in alignment with different people that does all different types of things, okay? So this is what I want you to do. I want all you guys to come on, hold hands. Now the great thing is when you have the opportunity to shift, it is probably one of the most invigorating things ever to be able to do. Let me tell you why. Because your circle will change. When you shift, you realize that stuff that dead weight, you begin to shift that. It's like you're coming out your cocoon and your butterfly, you're about to fly, right? So then what happens is when you're about to fly, you know a lot of times that butterflies, you don't see one butterfly, usually when you see one, you see a few, right? Okay. So what happens is then you have an opportunity. How do you guys think that butterflies communicate with each other? They have a network, right? They have a network, and so that's what happens. So when you begin to shift, after you begin to shed everything that's been holding you back all these type of years, because it took me 20 years. It doesn't have to take you 20 years. It might happen for you right now, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're about to shift, and we're going to turn to this. We're going to turn to the left. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you turn to the left, you get a different view of what's really happening in your life, right? So we're going to turn back to the right. So when we turn to the right, you also can sometimes get a better view of what's happening in your life, right? So then when you shift, you have to begin to get boots on your feet. So I want you guys to kind of root your feet down. You know what I'm saying? So now you're on solid ground because you're taking the first step to shift. And the first step always starts with you. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so when the first step starts with you, then you can start beginning to build your network by shifting. Now, every now and then, you may get people in your network that can provide information for you. See, the network of shifting is the fact that information is always shifting in the circle. You understand what I'm saying? So before you can get there, you might have to go through some things. Now, I know that my story might not be your story. It might not be your story. It might not be your story. But I had to go through everything that I went through just to get to where I'm at now. And it was hell for me. But everything that I went for taught me that I'm way stronger than I've ever been in my life. That I'm a conqueror. I'm an overcomer. I can handle everything that everybody say to me. Because why? I survived the worst hell of my life. I lost 2 kids. 2 shows. And I got good hair now because of cancer. So when you shift, this is what happens. The information that you need for your business begin to shift. I may know someone that may need some Mary Kay. You may know someone that, what you do again?
Sales, fitness.
You may know someone that may need to exercise, and you do what?
Transition coaching.
You may need to know someone that coach. Now, the thing is, everybody has a shift of information, and the information is always like this. So you always is shifting with the information. So my thing is, you have to tap into your network of shifters. The thing is, you have to be able to align yourself with people that are movers, that are shakers. You can't have no seat people, is what I call them, seat fillers. You can't have none of those. You got to be willing to have people that are always in the move to shift, because one complacent person can break the whole cycle, and then you find yourself stuck in the same position that you just left, and you don't have to. You have to shift. You have to shift, so it's always important to continue to keep yourself moving, because nothing stays the same. We know that we live in a world that's evolving all the time. It's 2018. We can't do the same thing we was doing. Back in the day, you might can pose. Now, no, we got to be able to pose and move pose and move at the same time. We got to be able at the same time. So my question to you is, what are you guys going to do to shift? What do you want to do to shift? What is it that you want for your business? And whatever it is that you want for your business, you have to shift your current position right now to go get it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? All right, thank you. All right, that is online. That is for me. I don't even know if that's 30 minutes, but so as always, I wanted to just let you guys know that what I do is I'm at CNA Enterprises. I work with nonprofits all day. I teach them how to brand themselves, market themselves, and as always, I do all that paperwork, and I start them up. I also have a book that is out called Behind My Smile, Every Woman's Worst Nightmare. It talks to you more in detail about my journey of what I went through in domestic violence. You guys feel free to follow me on social media. My name is Charmin Y. Anderson. Okay, it's cool. Oh, you got questions for me? Okay, cool. You guys online should ask questions. Come on up. I want people to see you ask me a question. You don't got to, come on up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I really appreciate it. When I walked in the room, I noticed you hang your shoes off.
Absolutely.
And to me, it was an immediate work of art. I was like, oh, this means something. This is a statement.
Mm-hmm.
You look fabulous, but you took your shoes off.
Absolutely.
And that, I knew it meant something. So I was just wondering if you could share with us what that means for you or what you wanted us to get from it.
My shoes, I always need to feel my foundation under the bottom of my feet. I need to feel like I'm solid. So I need to be able to feel my strength. And honestly, I gain strength from my foundation. And then the second reason, my big toe and my little toe was having some conversations with each other. And it just wasn't, they wasn't cooperating in that shoe. So my little toe told my big toe, said, you tripping. And my little toe said, you right. So I had to take the shoes off. But always, honestly, I'm just joking. No, I'm serious, but I'm joking.
Because you are.
Exactly. Absolutely. Very, very, very much. Very much. Anybody else got any questions? We got 30 minutes. I'm just here to answer questions, talk to you guys. Online, you got any questions for me? Talk to me. Comments. Give yourself permission to heal. Give yourself permission to move forward. Give yourself permission to be great. Also, turn the GPS on in your own life. Your location matters. Who else got it? Anybody else got any questions? And that's it for me online. It's been real. Please. Thank you. I don't know what to do. I'm shifting to another room.
Yeah. I hope we stopped it. Let me go get it. Did he take you to another room? Okay. I think he goes to the room. This is. How long have you been speaking?
I have been speaking probably now for about 2.5 years. I just quit my full-time job back in July. So I was working at a university. And
It's still live, so maybe we go up there and just talk.
I could do
It's
that.
live. I kind of hear you. I have it on my thing. Also live stream. Yeah.
All of my wonderful Black women entrepreneurs, how are you doing? I just came by. I just wanted to spend just a few minutes with you because we are in 2018 and it is time. It is time to rock 2018 and have the best life ever. And I know that just like you, that's what you're looking for. That's why you're here. That's why you have joined us today for the Womenprenuer 18 conference, because you have decided that this is your year. So I just want to talk to you. How is it that you can have the very best year possible for you? Well, I like to teach my clients that. And it's really like a 3-step formula. Rebuild, renew, and re-release. That's what we do. And it's very simple. So let me just kind of walk you through it, because sometimes in life, we can encounter life challenges. And those challenges sometimes can get us down. We lose focus. We are not really sure what our life purpose is. But I can tell you, when you spend the time to rebuild your life, to rebuild that vision that you have for your life, you can make not only 2018, but you can make your life totally epic. So let's just talk about, how do you do that? So I like to tell people about how we can re-envision the life that we want. Did you know that it's possible to create the life of your dreams? It's really possible. I know people might talk about things that happen in their life, but if you want to simply have a better life, create the life you want. It's not going to come to you. You got to go get it. One of the techniques that I use is through vision boarding. You guys ever used a vision board before? So, and mine is a little different. So what I do is I first start with just reflection and understanding where I've been, and then I start creating a vision for the life that I want. And as a visionary, you all have that possibility. So it's, what is it that I see for myself? What is it that God has created me to be? I know my purpose, I know my calling, and more importantly, know your gifts. When you can take your purpose, understand the calling that God has on your life, and then you can match that with your with the gifts that God is giving you, you can then begin to visualize the life that you want. And in this vision board, it's not about just cutting and pasting and putting pictures on the board. It's about having a thoughtful conversation with yourself on what it is that I want. So I tell you, so write this down. First of all, start with the most critical areas of your life where you want to see epic performance or epic results. And then when you come up with those 6 areas, I want you to then think about, of those 6, what are the 3 most important areas of your life, of those 6. Then you think about, so you have those 3, and now identify, of those 6, which one is your stabilizer? What's that? It could use just a little more work, but you know, it's really going pretty good. It keeps you stable in life. So identify which one is your stabilizer. Then I want you to think about which one is your anchor. And I'll just give you an example. For me, you know what my anchor is? That's my faith. That's my belief in God. Because I know no matter what happens in life, no matter how crazy it gets in life, if I'm over here anchored in my faith, in the belief that I have, and in the promise of God, I know that there is nothing that will ever shake me. Now, I may get a little bruised, I may get knocked down, but I know I can get back up, because that's my anchor. That's what's been promised to me, and that's what I rely on every single day. So you have the 3 most important parts of your life. You have
the fourth one that is your stabilizer. You have the fifth one that is your anchor, and the last one you're going to identify is that one that brings you your joy. And for me, that's my family. My daughter is one of the most important persons in my life, but also my relationships with other people and the commitments that I make to people. So that's the other part of that. So once you've been able to do that, then the next step, so you've identified the 6 areas of your life that you want to focus on. After you've done that, then you're going to identify what are the values that I hold true in my life. Just think about that. What are the values that you hold dear to your life? I'll give you an example of what that is for me. That is integrity. That's also being purpose-driven. And it's also being spiritually based. Those are the things that keep me grounded. And once you've identified those become your outer circle. Those are the things that, again, keep you comforted when times go bad. So you've identified the most important parts of your life. You've now identified the values that you hold true. Now what I want you to do is to think about, in order to achieve change in each of those, for each of those, you can identify what are the goals that I have. High-level goals. So that if one of the areas that most important in your life is your business, because we're all business women. So one of the things that's in business maybe is to grow your business, grow your profits. So you're going to create new products. But set a goal. Once you've done that, then the last thing I want you to do is I want you to think about your drivers. What's going to really be those things that drive you to success? Sometimes our success can be stalled by issues that we face. Personal issues. Might be procrastination, could be lack of discipline, those things. But think about it in terms of what's going to be your drivers, because those are the things that you're going to create or think about that you'll have to address, because those are the drivers where you need to be absolutely on point every day to make sure that you can accomplish and achieve the things that you want. So those are just my tips for you right now, at this very moment, to think about 2018 and how you're going to make it epic. So that's just one tool that I teach my clients. I think I forgot to tell you who I am. But my name is Gina Bell. I'm out of the Washington, D.C. area. I'm a business strategist, and I help women go from being a victim of their circumstance to being a victor. But for me today, at this very moment, just to be able to share this information with you, it's really about you. Because my success is nothing without your success. And so if I can help you become the better person, the best person, have the best experiences in life by learning through something that I've told you, that's my goal. Because as Black women, we have to help each other. And I think that's why I like this conference so much. The energy is high. There are some phenomenal women here that are not only speaking, but are in the room today and out there. And I want to congratulate you for the decisions that you made to make 2018 an epic year. And I know that you can rock it. God has already given you the talents, the skills. He's given you opportunities. You just have to act. So if there's anything more that you can think about this. And that is rebuild, renew, and release. Rebuild your vision for your future. Rebuild your mind, because the mindset is the single most critical thing that can stall your progress. And then renew your energy, reinvigorate, renew your body. All those things matter. When you change your body, you change your life. So whether that's an exercise routine, whether I don't recommend resolutions, I recommend declarations. Declare it to be true of what you want for your life. And I'm guilty of it. Every year I set new fitness goals. But what I started doing is I have declared, not a number on the scale, I declared to be healthy and to live my best life by doing the things that I know will bring me my best life. So when I have to choose what I have to eat, I look at this, I look at that, and I say, which one is going to help bring me the better life? So my decision becomes easier at that point because I am totally focused on my health. I'm totally focused on my family, what I can do for my family, and most importantly, is focused on how I can serve others. And I have to be in my A game. I have to be ready, but I have to be healthy. I have to be moving. So renew your energy, renew your body. And the last thing is get ready to receive that which you've been waiting for. Get ready to receive all that God has in store for you. And it's going to be right there for you. So thank you so very much. And it is time now for the next dynamic and amazing speaker with the Womenprenuer. Thank you so very much.
All right, hello. We are back at it again. Welcome, welcome, welcome to 30 Minutes to Change Your Life. My name is Yoli Cox, and I am the CEO of Breathe Fitness, as well as the owner of Let It Out. Both brands designed to create a platform for women to change their life from the inside out. If you've got a moment, go onto your Facebook page and just add me. I've got a whole PowerPoint presentation attached to this that I'd love for you to see. The images go directly with what we're going to talk about, and I know you'll have a good time just looking at the pictures. Take a moment and do that. I'll wait for you. We're all here, ready to serve you. Ready? All right, here we go. So this message is designed to touch the hearts of those who may have been experiencing some sort of loss, some sort of grieving. They're going through a grieving process right now, but they also want to be successful. Today's topic is how to get out the bed. I mean, come on. That's the hardest part, right? When you're experiencing some type of grief, some type of loss, something that keeps you from moving and doing the things that you know would make you successful. How to get out the bed. And this is about finding your way back to peace and to power. I know that you can do this, and I know that you're ready for it. So take a moment and just visualize with me a really comfortable bed. Close your eyes and just kind of step into a bedroom and visualize this bed in front of you with this really warm comforter that you took the time to pick out, those soft microfiber sheets that you couldn't wait to get your hands on, and a pillow. Oh my goodness, the pillow. It called your name before you could even get it off the shelf good because you knew it was going to nestle your head in the best position possible for you to get a good night's sleep. Do you have that visual in your head? You see, this bed that you're looking at is going to create this space for you that's going to allow you to be comfortable. Now, don't get too comfortable yet, considering it's the end of the day. I don't want you to go to sleep on me. I want you to hang out and let's get somewhere so that we can get you to success and you can find your way to the best 2018 ever. Now come sit with me and let's talk a little bit about my childhood and the whole reason that this presentation even got put together. It's all about the content. It's all about the clarity. And it's all about finding a way to do more. So I thought I was a princess growing up. I'm sure many young girls thought they were too, right? Most of us did. I didn't have any reason to think any different. As a matter of fact, the real reason that I thought that is because my parents created that situation for me. Now, when I look at where I grew up at this particular time in my life, maybe the princess part wasn't the right way to go when looking at what I thought was going on. But I tell you, for me, it was everything. I can remember a time when my mom said to me, "You make sure you let me know when you're going outside." I didn't really know what that meant, but one day I did. So I'm outside having a great time. And if you know anything about Southern parents, you know they're not going to say things twice, right? She came out looking for me, and she found me pinned up against the wall. I had climbed in between both buildings. And again, if you know anything about Southern parents, if they have to call your name more than once and they have to come save you, you're in trouble. Yeah. So I was in trouble that day. So still in this princess stage that I am, and not really knowing the why I was in trouble, I just, took the punishment and kept it moving. But here's the thing. They were trying to save me from what could have been. Now, growing up on the west side of Chicago, it may not have been the most glamorous place, but it was the place that gave me everything that I needed. Yeah, there was a lot going on, but there was always some fun to be had. There was always some friends to hang out with. It was the place to be, and everybody knew me. I loved it there. I can remember once at a block club party, long time ago, that we were outside playing, having a really great time, and we started a new jump rope game. Having a great time doing this, right? There were sirens screaming on the next block, and before I knew it, there was a young man running towards us. Top speed. We had no idea what was going on, but then we saw someone else running right behind him. Then gunshots rang out. Everybody scattered. And I can remember this just like it was my first and last name, because as I made my way up to the top of the steps that my mother was standing at, this young man followed me right up the steps and collapsed on my porch that day. He took his last breath while I was standing there watching him. My dad came out, stood next to me. I looked at him. He looked at me. I looked at this young man. And even at that age, and I had to be about 7 or 8, even at that age, I knew I did not want to be that young man laying on someone's porch, bleeding to death in front of another young girl or young boy. My dad saw that. And I believe at that moment, he said to himself, I need to put her in some kind of leadership training, some kind of development, something, because this will not happen to my princess. That was him. He was such a hard worker too. Now, if I had to really look back and think about all the things we did as a family, I would have to say they increased substantially after that day. I can remember going to Disney World every single year for 10 years straight. How does this happen? I have no idea. I just know I wanted to play in the Princess Castle. I just know I met a lot of kids from all over the world that I had fun with all the time. Well, at least for the 4 days we were there. We ate steak on a Tuesday quite often too. Who eats filet mignon on a Tuesday? I don't know. I did. I thought everybody did that. Apparently not. But I didn't learn that until farther down the line. It was the dresses that really got me. I stayed in a dress. I mean, every single day I was in a dress. I was in a dress, in tights, in hard bottom shoes, and I had bows in my head. Every single day. Had no clue what that was all about either. But I did know that my dad made it his purpose everywhere he went with this dress and everything on to take me every single place he went, whether he was leading a presentation or facilitating a workshop. I was right there in the front row, all dolled up and ready to rock. I didn't do anything at that time except look cute, but I had fun because I was with him. It wasn't until later that I realized all the things that I was being exposed to led me up until this particular point right now. See, filet mignon on a Tuesday let me know that I could have any meal that I wanted whenever I got ready, as long as I worked hard for it, as long as I believed I could have it. I didn't have to say no to myself. I didn't have to do that. Those trips to Disney World, well, that was exposure to other nationalities. That was exposure to people from other cultures around the world, because that's what Disney World is. I didn't realize that then. Being all dressed up, going to seminars, going to workshops, going to formal dinners, everything that he took me to, well, that showed me what I needed to do when I got in front of people, to do the exact same thing he did. Hopefully I did okay today. Only you can see me, so you have to let me know. Add a little something on my Facebook page and just say yay or nay. If it's a nay, I'll change it next time. But here's the thing. Those things that I didn't know what was happening then has shaped so much of what I am right now. I can remember 2017 like it's just falling off my arm. It was a kind of a rough year. Maybe some of you have had a rough 2017 also, and you couldn't wait till 2018 got here. In 2017, the loss was great. I lost a really great career, 150K plus, gone. 3,000 square foot home, gone. Ended a 17-year marriage, gone. And I lost the one man that meant everything to me, my dad. That was my 2017. But you know what else I learned in 2017? That I had the power to do something greater. I had the power to do something more, if I only reflected on the things that he taught me all the way up until that point. You see, in June of last year, he called and said, "Hey, I just got back from the doctor. Don't be concerned with what's going on. You don't have to worry about it." So I didn't. But in August, I realized what he told me in June might not have been the right thing that was going on. I started to see his health fade. And then in October, he passed away. I had peace with that because while he was in rehabilitation, I had an opportunity to sit and talk to him. And he told me he did everything he was sent to do. So that's the grief part. And we know there's stages in it, right? We go through the anger. We go through the disappointment. We go through the denial. We go through all of those things. And I tell you, I'm sure I've hit all phases of that. But what I've also realized is that I could get out the bed and still do something greater because my purpose was there. What is your purpose? What have you been designed to do? What have you been set up at the very beginning to do that would take you to a greater place? You know what it is in your heart. And if you've ever had to suffer a really big loss, or maybe even a bunch of them, that's kept you held captive in a certain spot, I submit to you right now that you do not have to be stuck in that spot. You can indeed get out that bed. You see, for a long time, I looked at my big comfortable bed as a passing point. I never rested. I'm always up. I remember my dad every single day taking about an hour after he got home from work. Now keep in mind, he got up at 3 a.m. every single day and got home at 3 p.m. every single day. And the only reason I know this is because I had to be home at 3:15 and he was always there. But every single day, he made sure to take a moment away to recharge and reset. Every day. That's key. I guarantee you, if you add that into your regimen, your mind will start to clear up so that it can have more come in, more creativity come in, so that you can also be greater than you were the day before. Every single day is an opportunity to do more. Now, as we move along and we get past the point of realizing, okay, rest is essential. I've got to take some time away. And I have to make sure that I'm open to the change. Once you see that, once you know that, things start to click. Things start to happen. But you have to take control of it and you have to believe in it. Because once you do, the change occurs, the increase occurs, and it's inevitable that you start to make a difference. See, getting out the bed is the hardest part, right? I was there. For weeks, I was there. I laid there. I cried every day. I didn't want to do anything. One day, I got up, looked over at my vision board, and I heard this voice, and it was him, because it was pretty clear. It said, Londa, that's what he called me. Get up and get busy. Because laying there does give you the recharge. It gives you the refresh. But after you get the refresh, you got to get busy and do something. Because why? The purpose is too great. The destiny is there and it's waiting on you. And if you don't go get it, it won't be got. Take charge of your life. Loss, grief, all the things that go along with being sad and depressed or sometimes even lonely, you don't have to stay in that spot. If you get up and get busy and listen to the voice inside of you, the principles that you had from so long ago, the things that you learned that has gotten you to be the best man or woman that you are right now, take those things and start to do something different. Start to do something more. Be greater than you were before the sadness and loneliness and depression occurred. You can do this, but you gotta act now. So take a moment. Just think about a time back maybe a few years ago, a year ago, whatever it is, where you were really having a tough time. Whatever that thing was, just think about it. Take a minute. Get it in your mind. Close your eyes. Are you doing it? Take a minute to think about it. Now I want you to get on the other side of it. The celebration part. What did that feel like? What did you say to yourself when you got to the other side? Were you winning? Absolutely. Did you celebrate? I hope you did. Were you excited? You should have been. All the things that go along with being excited and happy that you've gotten to the other side, that's the important part. Because you got through it. Now tell me, if you're going through something right now, if you're experiencing something right now that's causing you the same type of pain, I want you to think about that a little bit too. Ready? Take the same actions that you used to celebrate before and apply them right now. Why? Because preparation meets opportunity. You're going to be able to celebrate it. You're going to have the opportunity to create better, but you got to start right now. Start celebrating the activity now. I know it's hard, and it's okay that it's hard. I told myself, this is hard, but I can do it. but I had to get moving. I had to get out the bed. So at this very moment, while you're thinking about that, I want you to get up. If you're sitting down, get up. If you're in the car, don't stop the car unless you're safe. Unless you're safe, don't stop that car. But if you can, stand up right now, do it. And just start giving yourself a hand. Just start giving yourself an opportunity to celebrate the other side because it's right there. It's there waiting on you. It's there waiting for you to say, I got this. And keep believing in the fact that you can do it because I know you can. But do you believe it? I need you to believe it. All in your heart, believe that whatever that situation is not big enough that you can't celebrate getting on to the other side. My name is Yoli Cox, and this is your Let It Out Minute for the day. And this was how to get out the bed while you're dealing with grief or loss and making sure you can get to the other side with success. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you. Yes, I will take questions. We've got questions in the room. And if you have some too, and you throw them on my Facebook page, I will be glad to respond later on. My Facebook page is Yoli Cox. Go ahead and add me. I'm glad to have you on there. I will take whatever questions you have. If there's anything that I can give to you, consider it a gift from me at this very moment. Questions in the room?
Was there anything else while you say you couldn't get out the bed? Was there anything else besides hearing your dad's voice? Like, I can see how significant that is, but what did that translate to for you? Like, what was that like, that thing that really pulled you out in his voice or from what he said?
Yeah. So the question in the room is, what was in the voice that I heard that translated, hey, get out the bed? So you see, it was the principles that he gave me when I was a little girl. It was the things that I remembered that he did that I didn't necessarily understand that got me out the bed. I mean, seriously, what family from the west side of Chicago goes to Disney World every single year for 10 years? Where is that money coming from? He made a way. He worked hard. He stayed focused. He found solutions even when it didn't even look like there was a solution. So I had to get up once I heard that voice because it was given to me over and over and over. Like I said at the beginning, filet mignon on a Tuesday, I thought everybody did that. But they really didn't. He did it for me so that I could make sure that I got out the bed even at that very moment. Thank you for your question.
Absolutely. I have another.
Yes.
How did you know what you were supposed to be doing once you decided to get up and do so? Like, in your rest, did you have any, like, how did you know what the next step was?
So the question is, how did I know what I was supposed to be doing at the time that I was kind of laying there and then had the epiphany of getting up and out of the bed? So my purpose has been set from the very beginning. I am a trainer, coach, all of those things that go along with development and coaching of others. I know that that is my purpose. Now, what I was supposed to do with it was another story altogether. So that's where Breathe Fitness and Let It Out, that's where those two companies came from, because the design was there, but I really had no idea what they were going to turn into until maybe a year ago. Once I heard the voice, once I heard that, because quite honestly, I was throwing it all away. I didn't want to do anything else. That is just pure clarity from my heart from me to you here. I threw it all away once I laid in the bed and was completely depressed. It was gone. It was over. I didn't care. But once I heard the voice and I remembered what I was supposed to be doing and why I was supposed to be doing it, because this life that I lead is not for me. This life I lead is for the people that need what I have. I don't know who that is. I know I have to do it because that's what he did. Teacher, trainer, coach. That was my dad. That's what he showed me. And that is who I am. So that voice said to me, get up, get busy, because you got work to do. People are waiting on you. And I'm here for it all. Thank you for your question.
So besides you staying in the bed, what made you know that you were depressed?
Oh, the question is, besides just staying in the bed, how did I know I was depressed? Well, besides the fact that I cried every single day at very random times, tears would just start to flow. There was no food intake. There was no water intake. There was maybe I would get up to wash my face. Maybe. And then it started to just turn into days at a time until, so I've got some great friends, and which is another thing. Your circle determines what your next level is going to look like. If you got a circle of people that's going to let you stay there, I need you to get rid of them. I need you to start over. I'm not here to really sugarcoat anything, because if we taking over, we got to know the truth. People that will let you stay in the same muck that you've been in should not be around. Change your circle. So my circle came in, and one, they moved me out of that house, of that situation, into a really beautiful townhome, and I'm so happy about it. They also fed me and made sure that I realized all the closets of clothes that I had, I needed to wear those. I needed to get in those, because that's what I do. Teaching classes. I'm a fitness instructor. I didn't want to do that either, and it's my first love. It's my whole passion. They put me back in the gym and told me to get it together. I actually rested. I took the time to rest, because I wasn't doing that. I wasn't sleeping. I had 24 hours at a time, just watching television all night. I wouldn't call anybody back. For what? And talk about what? I didn't have anything. In my mind, I didn't have anything. But the voice and the purpose and the drive now gives me the opportunity to share with others, yeah, you might get that way. You might get depressed. You might have all of those things that go on in your life, but you don't have to stay there. And once again, surround yourself with people that's going to lift you higher so you can change your life, so you don't have to stay there. Thank you for your question. Any other questions? Anything else? I told you I'm here for it. I can't wait to look at the Facebook page. Yoli Cox, add me. Glad to do it.
Can you spell your name?
Yes, Yoli. Y-O-L as in Londa. I. Last name C as in cat. O-X like X-ray. Yoli Cox. Any other questions? Anything else? Awesome. Go live. Go do it. Stay on your purpose. I'm Yoli Cox, and this is your Let It Out Minute.
Anybody else talking?
Okay, we're back because there's still some more questions in the room for Yoli Cox. If you don't mind, Yoli, you can come up and address the question so the world can hear your answers.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm back. The question in the room was, how long did it take for me to feel comfortable to address any of the loss, really? And it's not just about the death of my dad, but the other losses that I talked about. Quite honestly, I don't know if I'm comfortable at all. I don't know if there's any comfort level that can get somebody to the point where they can say, whew, yep, did that, it's over. You still feel something. And I think that part is okay. It's okay to feel uncomfortable, but you do it anyway. You do it anyway because you know it's going to change some lives. You do it anyway because you know that it's going to serve a greater purpose than just keeping it to yourself. See, the divorce was hurtful, and it did a lot to me. Of course it did. But that part is over. Loss of the house, I loved my house, but that part is over. Loss of the job, that was a good job, but that part is over. The loss of my dad, loved him, love him. But I know that part is over. And I know that everything that I learned from all of those situations is going to take me to so many greater places that I won't even know what to do with myself. And hopefully it does something that touches you too. Like I said before, I'm here for it all. And if there's anything that you need from me, if I can answer it, I will answer it. I am such an open book and very transparent. Yoli Cox, go on my Facebook page, add me, and ask whatever you want. Thank you for your question.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. Let me get a little bit of comfortable.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Nice to see you all. I think as some of the people around, we've been at the conference for a full day already so far, and it's feeling good. I'm having some good energy. Are you guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So since I'm a little bit transitioning a bit, we just heard a wonderful speaker in purple, and she had great. Did you talk about fitness?
No, I could have though.
I know. What was your topic? 30 minutes. Like, I came in the end. So, what are we transitioning from?
We were talking about how to get out the bed, dealing with loss or grief, and then being successful, being on the side of that.
I love that. Because my topic, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and so appropriate, right? So my topic this morning was more about why I came here originally for the Black Woman Takeover. It was because I wanted to share my book, Mental Health Entrepreneur. I wanted other therapists to learn how to make money because we don't have to take the low-paying jobs anymore and kill ourselves to work. So I said that piece in the We Run the World room this morning. And if you guys want to check that out, go back to that room for the live rebroadcast of that, whatever the Black Women Takeover does with the rebroadcast. But today, I'm more so coming from my perspective as a therapist and as a wellness coach and someone who helps women feel better about themselves. Not just women, men, children, couples. I see them all because I'm also a play therapist. So a part of taking care of yourself is living life and still wanting to play and still wanting to be happy and realize what makes you happy. So 30 minutes to change your life. This is what I gotta say. What makes you happy? What is it that you enjoy doing that you feel like a child again, that you want to play again, that you are breathing and making movement in your body? That's how you change your life, because most people are really unhappy and in stressful states when they're not breathing. And when people are not breathing, it usually means they're not moving. Their breath isn't coming in a flow. Something's stopping them. Something's stopping the breath right up in here. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody in the room? You ever felt that in your chest? Right? What about in the belly? Headaches, muscle cramps. All of that stuff that we try to say is something from medicine, that medicine can cure, that, oh, I'll take a leave for it, I'll go get some sleep, that'll help it. No, something else is going on. Something else at a base level, a foundational level of who you are is suffering. And you can feel it always with breath. So that's why when I talked about transition from what she talked about into what I'm talking about, I wanted to start with breath, okay? So everybody in the room, this is kind of what I do. Whenever I start a new topic or move someone, we have to take a pause just to refresh ourselves, just to realize, were we breathing for that whole presentation that happened before it? Were we breathing in the transition? We don't know, but now we're about to make sure. All right, okay? So I'm standing up, and if you're standing up, that's great. Everybody out there in the World Wide Web, go ahead, plant your feet. Make sure it's solid and grounded like a tree. Imagine yourself like a tree growing roots, or you can sit down. It's up to you. If you're seated, sit yourself down solid in that chair, plant those feet. Take your palms. So your palms are a part of this whole energy, right? If our feet are our branches and our roots down to the ground, then our arms are our branches up to the sky and reaching to the sun. There's no sun in here. There's only a roof, but we can imagine, right? So we can do that. We can ground on our hips. We can ground with our hands at our chest. It depends on what you're feeling. I tend to like to ground with my hands at my chest because I'm heart-centered, and maybe some of you are as well. Some of you might need more of this grounding if you feel like you're swaying. If you feel like you're swaying in this movement, just put your hands on your hips, okay? All right? Like we're going to close our eyes or pick a focal point on the ground before you. Take a deep breath in through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it at the top. And exhale through your mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do that one more time. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Sipping a little bit more at the top. A little bit more. Hold it. And exhale through your mouth. 3. Now if that felt good to you, take one more deep breath in. And let it out. Now shake it out. All right. Now go ahead and have a seat. Thank you for joining me in that. Do you guys feel a little bit more refreshed out here? Yes. Something about that, right? So now you know you're breathing. And now you know you're ready to take charge and take action. So one of the things I say to I can be a business coach to other therapists, but I'm also just a therapist. So a primary number of my clients are females, and they're women who have families or have relationships. How many of us have families or relationships with a significant other? That's right. No families or relationships? What about families in general? Sisters and brothers and mothers, right? Those are relationships. It doesn't have to be a intimate male-female relationship or anything like that. It's people around you that kind of influence who you are and how you move. So if you have a support system, that very support system is tied into your action. So if you are not breathing and you don't have a support system, how far can you go? How far is your engine going to move on this road to where you're going? And where are we going? What is our goal? Most of us here, this is called the Black Woman Takeover. What are we taking over?
Our world.
Our world, right? Yeah. What else?
Our lives.
Our lives, our money,
Yes.
right? Our livelihood, our choices. If we know where our money is coming from, we have way more choices than someone who has one stream of income. And most people have one stream of income. And if they lose that job, if something happens to that job, that boss that they have, if something happens to that boss who owns that company, we're all affected, right? And usually we're the last to know. And that's why I made it a passion of mine to inform other people about what our opportunities are. Contracts that bigger organizations have, whether you're a mental health entrepreneur or not, if someone else has a contract out there, you can get it too. To change our lives and get those contracts and make those decisions, if we take care of ourselves. We know when we're breathing. We know where we want to go. So if we don't have a plan for where we're going, we don't know where we're going. So one of the plans I heard was take control of our lives. But what is a specific? Can someone give me a specific of what they want of their business, like one of their business goals? In 2018.
Attract more paying clients.
Attract more paying clients. I love it. That's what we all want. Pay me so I can live and eat and make my own schedule and be happy, right? So how are you going to get more paying clients?
Posting more on social media, networking more.
You have a plan.
Yes.
So I don't want to put you too much on the spot. Thank you so much for saying that, because what you're saying is, I know for sure in 2018, in this political climate, in this world I'm in, social media is necessary. And you probably determined this from education, right? You probably follow people on Facebook and Instagram, and you watch those other business owners grow and get more paying clients, or at least it looked like it, right? Because how do you know? Are you in their pocket? Fake it till you make it. Action plan number 1, breathe. Take care of yourself. Be aware enough that when an opportunity comes your way, you have enough self-esteem, enough confidence, enough action, enough fuel in your car, enough breath in your engine to take that opportunity when it's in your face. You know, and a lot of people don't have that, you know, because we don't have the confidence sometimes when an opportunity is in front of us to say, hey, I can be the one for you. Here's my card. What's your email address? I'm ready to collaborate on this. I've done this in the past. They don't have to know exactly the last thing you did was you spoke at your friend's PTA meeting. You know, they don't have to know that. All they have to know is that you made eye contact, you had a firm grip, and you said, in 30 days, I can change my life. Because this opportunity is mine. I got this. You know? And that's what breath and action is intent. And that's health. And that's why I'm so passionate about health. And particularly for us in business, nobody's taking care of us. We don't have a boss. We don't have somebody who's going to catch us when we fall. We have to do it all. I mean, we might have staff underneath us, but as soon as something's going wrong, they ain't there for us. Who's there for us? We are there for us, and as business owners and as women. I have to tell you a little bit of a story. I am so blessed that I was chosen for this project called American Woman. And it's a photo documentary media project. You can check it out. It won an award. It was featured on The Root. And it's a Black artist. She's a female. Her name is Honey Young, I think. And she started this in 2016. And the American Woman Project basically highlighted American Black women. And it was called American Women Project because Black women are not what you envision when you think American woman, right? What do you envision when you think American woman? White woman, right? You don't think Black women take over. American woman, we have to call it Black women take over. If we call it a woman takeover, you would probably think it was a lot of white women here, right? We have to identify that particular so that we can take over the market. So she was trying to do something different for art. So a couple of weeks ago, Brooke, I forget her name, on CNN, she came out with American Woman with Brooke. Big white woman, big media figure white woman, took the whole project, and now it's identified with CNN and not this other woman's project. And I'm bringing this story up because, in a way, this is our story as Black women. Our history kind of gets erased when someone else's idea can take it over. And I don't think it's intentional on all person's part. It's just our history, unfortunately. It's a history we've had to live through, and it's what made us have Black girl magic. We got it. We earned it. But we keep having to earn it. And it's a part of our history. It's a part of our present. And if we're not strong enough to work through seeing that kind of stuff and still stepping over and be like, no, this was my project. It wasn't even my project, the American Woman Project. Just being one of the media figures that was chosen, I feel hurt. I can't imagine how that woman feels. You know, and that's her business, her art. So I bring this into this topic of 30 days to change your life?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. 30 minutes. What is that, 30 minutes? We only need 30 minutes? Well, 30 minutes. You done heard this story about this artist whose idea was kind of, I don't know if it was appropriated intentionally, but somebody didn't do research, right? So now this woman has to come forward with her business and with intent continue. And that's what we have to do every single day. And that's how we have 30 minutes to change our life. We have intent. We know that no matter what happens, we're going to keep going and keep grinding and breathe through it. Take a moment of woosah when things get hard and you can't do it anymore and you feel like your brain's about to explode and you feel like nobody's there for you. That's when you take another step back and you do what we started. How did we start? We grounded ourselves. Whether that's prayer for you, whether that's going to a therapist, whether it's exercise, mine is yoga in particular. I can be a very anxious personality. I've always been a very anxious personality. Even being here in this present moment doing this speaking engagement, I have totally challenged myself to be here today, to be here earlier. You know, when he said, come here and do this right now, this is not my original speaking spot. I was like, this morning I did it, I'm done, bye. And when he said, do this, I was like, no. But I did it because I wanted to help. And I was nervous, and all your lovely faces made me get through it, and I appreciate you. But also, my journey through breath and yoga work got me here too. And that's the biggest thing I wanted to share, is that it worked for me. It might not work for you. Yoga may not be your thing. Running was my thing before yoga. I progressed. You know, I watched myself. As I developed as a person through my anxiety, I said, oh, this works a little bit. The running works a little bit. But you can't do that all the time. That's unsafe. I can't be going 9 o'clock at night all the time running. People must see my routine. I don't want to get murdered. You know, these things. As a woman, Black women take over. We have to be real with each other. You know, our routines can help us, but can they kill us too? We're still women in this world where there's a Me Too movement. Right. We're still a part of the Me Too movement. In fact, one of our people started it. Black women, Black girl magic. Yeah. You know, we start lots of things, and a lot of people they're the ones who get it media and mainstream, but we still own it. And it's events like this that's going to keep us realizing that we own it and we got each other's back. Let's connect. Let's continue to connect. If you're out there in the World Wide Web and you like anything of what I said, you know, I'm just another woman and I want to support other women and I want to support other business owners. So if you want to check me out, check out at the Feel Well Coach at Instagram or on Facebook. My business name is Phil's Family Counseling Services. We do therapeutic services in Pasadena, California. I'm also the chair of a nonprofit based out of California called the Therapeutic Play Foundation, where we work to build resilience in low-income communities. So I'm out there helping us. And if you want to be out there helping us too, please connect with me, and I'll help connect you whatever I can connect. Thank you.
What's your page?
Oh, at Instagram?
On Facebook?
Facebook, the Feel Well Coach.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope you feel well.
Oh.
Yeah, the Feel Well Coach. So I got that idea because through my journey, through my stressors and all the good things that have happened in my life, I became a yoga instructor. And I do yoga therapy with primarily large amount of my clients, where we do the breath work. I teach them alternative nostril breathing, how to use stones and aromatherapy to calm themselves. I primarily specialize in anxiety because of what I've been going through within my life. But I think a secondary thing that I specialize in is business coaching for other therapists, because I found that most people who are in my field, we're healers and we help other people. And I don't even think it's just my field. I think we as women tend to be healers or nurturers of other people. And I think as business owners, sometimes it's contradictory whether that's actually a fit. You know, I'm a business owner, but I'm supposed to nurture you and you and you, but how? How can I do all this? And I think the answer is that you have to take care of yourself first. Like they say on the airplane, you know, put the thing, when something's going out, you can put the mask over yourself first before you put it on people around you, because you're going to pass out first before you can take care of other people if you don't nurture self. If your sense of self is strong and you have good confidence and you have good grounding, and when somebody comes at you all wrong in your business, and they will, because it's business, it's money. People don't want to spend money, they want to hook up, they want all this, they want that, they want what you got. I mean, people can be coming initially to you from a good space, but it can always transition. And that has nothing to do with you. In the end, you are in control, you got this, you are the leader and queen and goddess and controller of all that is this. All that is your vessel. And if someone comes at you wrong when it comes to your business, your money, or your sense of self, you have to be grounded and breathe through it so that you don't react in a way that's negative for you. And I think that's going to change your life. If you didn't think that way before, take this from a therapist and a business owner and someone who coaches others in this realm, that if you lose control in a moment where someone else is coming at you with reactivity and all their history and their stuff, they will take you down with it if you cannot pause. and your business is your livelihood. It's not worth you letting somebody come at you all wrong to lose your livelihood. So I've done really good at, I understand, I will do my best. Yes, I understand that you're coming from that. I appreciate you. I will work on that and we'll talk. I'll be in touch, you know, because you can't just continue to engage and be right. That's all I got. Everybody out there, I look forward to working with you and engaging with you on social media. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thank
You got a
you.
great page too. It's filled with so many good things.
Thank you. I try. You know, like when I first started, I did it for my clients. Because a lot of my clients are like, how do you do this? And why do you breathe that way? And I was like, what you mean? Like they hadn't been exposed to it. Especially us.
Yeah.
Am I still live?
Yeah.
Oh, should I still go over
It's
there?
continuous.
Okay.
It's
Who else is next? We gonna still talk? You wanna do like a talk about wellness?
I think we should do a
I'm
Q&A.
happy to do that.
Is there two?
Let's do it. Come on, let's go
All
for
right.
it. Come on. You got us. Why not?
Thank you.
Anybody else wanna come up here? Let's do it. Yes. Let's do it. I wish that we had opportunity to like see the comments for the live and respond that way.
I can check.
Yeah, let's try it. I don't know. I'm not that social savvy. So if someone knows how to do that, let's do it. That'll be so useful. I know that when I started my business, I would have loved hearing some people talk about it like this. Because I'm 10 years in now. My business started, I started by myself as a solopreneur, as a DBA in 2008. And then I got incorporated as an S Corp in 2010 once I got licensed, and I've been an S Corp ever since. So I know this was 30 minutes to change your life, but let's talk about whatever.
Yeah, because I think you ladies brought up some really great points and ideas, and if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I will
let's
just
do it.
facilitate this panel so we
Yes.
can keep getting great nuggets.
Yes.
Ladies, feel free, chime in if you have anything. So between the two of you and some other stories I heard earlier, there are a lot of tips on how to kind of get out of the rut, start over, push through, step 1 through 5, 6, 7, 8 on how to get things going and get to where you want to be, right? So my thing is always, especially as women, especially Black women, we have the tendency to look at and listen to what other people think and say about us and our goals. So since it's still January, it's the new year, there's so many goals, new goals being set, New Year resolutions and so forth. So what would you say, because I really hate that people get to a certain point and there's stigmas out there. Well, most people won't even do what they say they're going to do by March. You know, you're going to fail at this, you're going to fail at that. Or if you're not at this point by now, you're probably not doing what you're supposed to do. So do you have any advice for people who feel the need, because we know we don't need other people's opinions, but for some reason we feel the need to listen sometimes. So what would you say to those ladies who maybe they're not on track? You know, they might not be on track already. It's towards the end of January.
Well,
and
that's
you know,
January 18th.
That's a few weeks.
Really?
My
Alright,
goodness.
so that's how hard people are on themselves.
Yes.
I
People are
very-
so hard.
as not just an owner of a fitness studio, but as for being in the fitness industry for about 10 years or so, you'd be surprised, maybe not really based on what you do, but hearing over and over again on day 2 or day 3, I've already messed up. This is going to the dogs. I've already messed up. I've already eaten the cake, or whatever it is that they promised themselves that they would not do on day 2 or 3, and it's done. So my suggestion is always, number 1, know that you can always begin again. And that's a full out yoga principle right there. You can always begin again, and that can be applied to anything, no matter what it is. But I think the biggest pearl that I could give is to write down what that goal looks like. Just write it on something. I create vision boards and I also journal. But write down what the goal is. What does it look like? And what is the reason why behind the goal? That's the first thing. Start with why. The second is create a few things that you want to do. Just how do you plan on achieving it? And be so specific that when you look at it again, you can't just say, oh, I want to make sure that I'm focused on not eating crap. That's big. What does that really mean? What's the weakest thing for you? You know, it doesn't have to be everything. Just take the power of 3. Take away 3 things, add 3 things in. Just be specific in that second point. And then the third thing, which is the most important piece of it, is to believe you can do it. You gotta believe it so much that if somebody comes out and says to you, oh no, you know you're gonna mess up, you know how much you love cake, you can go back to your paper and say, no, I'm not going to, but even if I do, I can begin again. But I believe I can make it to the end of this goal and get to the other side of success.
I love that. I think that's important. And I think it's hard though for people to get to there because before you make a goal, you have to have a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you won't be ready to achieve a goal until you're ready. You know, and I think that in yoga we learn, and not even just yoga, in life, we learn that expectations are the source of all suffering.
Yes.
Expectations are the source of all suffering. So if you expect a reaction or somebody to do for you what you would do for them, guess who's suffering?
Yeah.
You, not them.
Yeah.
You know, if you expect, I'm going to get this client and this client and this client tomorrow and that doesn't come through, who's suffering? You, because you expecting that, you know? If you only have faith in your abilities and what you got going on, and you said, well, right, the belief in yourself is it. So if you make a resolution, don't even go for that resolution if it's so specific. You know, if you make a resolution of be happy. I want to be happy today. Today, this makes me happy. That's what I encourage at the base level. If someone has difficulty making goals, especially in business, because it's hard to set goals in business because you can't control. You can't control what contracts you get. You can't control that you submit a proposal that you're going to win it. Even though they look like they were going to give it to you, they brought you to all the meetings, you done flew out all that time and wasted all your time and money and effort, and it ain't yours. Your expectations is what makes you suffer, not the fact that you didn't get it, right? It's that you already done spent that money, right? So if you didn't do that to yourself, you ain't gonna start suffering. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come in it with a kind of a, you only have expectations of yourself, but they're realistic. Like if you tell yourself you're gonna lose 10 pounds by next week, that's real difficult. Who's in control of that? I think kind of God.
Yeah, so don't try that. As
Yeah.
Don't do that.
But some people do.
Yeah.
Some people do have those things, and they've seen it on TV, or their friend did it because their friend was taking pills, or there was like weird things that somebody didn't tell them what was going on. Just because somebody told you a story doesn't mean that's your story.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's why I keep harping on expectations, because you know yourself, you know what you can do, you know at the base level you could be happy, right?
Yeah.
So that's what your goal got to be. What makes me happy today, in this moment, in this present moment. If you can't live in this present moment, it's really hard to be a business owner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. Wow. Thank you so much, ladies.
Yeah.
One question.
Sure. Have another question?
So I guess there's a question for both of you all, since the topic still is basically 30 minutes or how to change your life. So what if you've made the vision board, you've actually done the goals, you wrote down the vision, and then life happens and then you kind of get discouraged and you don't see it, so you're just like, well, okay, that was yesterday's, dream or goal or vision, and you just continue to keep trying to do something else because you shifted from one thing to something totally different that wasn't even what you dreamed and visioned and what you saw for yourself, but you did. Well, I did the vision party. I've done all those things, but you still are not operating in that within your business, your life, and all that.
So the question is, you've done the vision board, you've written the goals down, you've done everything possible to set yourself up for success based on maybe some tips and some tricks coming from some other business owners. And you're looking at it and thinking to yourself, this is not working. What do you do, right? That sums it up, right? So I'll share this. And I've talked about this in other workshops. I quit myself about 500 times. I wanted to write myself a resignation letter because I wanted to quit, breathe, and let it out. Because I was up to the end, like I was at the end. Why is this not working? It's on the vision board. Why is this not working? I got all these pages of journals. I got all this written down. Why is this not working? I wrote it down and I believe in myself, and now I'm tired. But then something keeps happening. The purpose has to drive you. The why has to drive you. No matter how many times I quit, no matter how many times I wanted to give up, something comes around the corner because, you know, the purpose also opens up resources, and the universe says, okay, I see the purpose. I see what you're trying to do. You're on the right track, even though you might be discouraged. So now the universe throws in things that makes me think about what it is I'm supposed to do. I quit myself, and then everybody the next day had on purple. Why? Why am I seeing this color? I quit myself, and then somebody was talking to me about breathing. The name of my company is Breathe.
Really?
How about it?
Theme.
How about it? And it continued to press on my heart. So you can't let it go because the universe knows that's what you're supposed to do. So now here I am back in business. I have begun again. As a matter of fact, I'm having final inspections on my place coming up here on Monday. So thank you so much. But it all came in knowing that I could begin again, even though I almost didn't believe. And it goes back to that team of people again. Your circle, they gotta be tight. They gotta be so tight that even when you think you don't believe, they coming right at you. Well, you gotta do this, but I don't want to. But yes, you do, because you have to do it for other people that's waiting.
Oh, and I guess I agree completely with all that. And the only thing I would add is I think it's okay for your vision to change.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a vision board can always be added to and grown, add little add-ons, or flip it on the other side and be like, this is this week's. Because I think that my vision has always changed based on my opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I was always just stuck in, so I started being adoption home studies. That's what my business was, adoption home studies, because I was a CPS social worker doing child abuse investigations, and I was pretty good at writing. And people are always asking me to write proposals or grants and things on the side. That's always been kind of a side hustle for me since grad school because it's a strength that people saw in me. I didn't like it a lot of times, so it's not my passion, right? But it's how I made a little bit of side money. But that's how my business grew. And that's where I made money and got the fee for services. So sometimes the money that's coming in isn't the passion. It's a kind of a part of the passion. It's your opportunity to see who you are. And if that's who you're going to be, because it's just an opportunity. All opportunities don't have to be, that's it. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It could just be your growth. You know, and growth is continuous. Growth is uncomfortable and weird and awkward, but it's necessary. So I had to be an adoption home study therapist for a few years. I hired all my friends. That's how my business grew. People knew me as a staffing agency for adoption home studies. I found all my friends, said, hey guys, want to write a home study? Want to write a home study? I'm getting the clients. I'm referring them out, right? I'm hiring. I'm making money for other people. People want to give me more money because why? I'm giving them money. I'm giving them opportunities. So my vision wasn't to be an adoption home study worker forever. Then I got an opportunity to work in a school. Okay, I'll do it. I'll still do the home studies on the side. Oh, what do I need? You need staff at the school. I'll find some friends who do school. So visions always change. And so always know that. You don't have to, you're not a failure because of change.
Yeah.
And it's not locked in. In fact, that's when you're about to grow. You're about to glow up like Mary J, right? Glow up. Because you had something come at you. That's what it is. That's your level up. That's how you know it's time. Something coming at you, it's hard, it's different. This ain't where I was going. All it is an opportunity. Look at another opportunity and keep this one in your pocket and go, let's see.
Yeah.
Touch it. Touch it with a finger, with a toe. Breathe.
Breathe.
Wow. Touch it with another toe. You might fail, but guess what? You made friendships, you made networking opportunities, and that, whatever that was, it was meant for you to be somebody. Maybe not forever, but maybe somebody somewhere was
Yeah.
for you, right?
I love it. Yeah. There's no maybe about it. There's no accident that
No.
you walked in here and made us breathe right after the CEO breathe. Talking about getting out the bed. No, really. I mean, nothing is an accident. So thank you so much for that question. Thank you for having me. I'm Ladyweight, by the way, and I am honored to sit in between you two beautiful, powerful women and you beautiful, powerful women in the room.
You guys
and
come
out
up
there in
so
the
that
world.
people here can
Yeah,
see.
we
You
got
are
people in the
feedback.
room.
Yes, introduce yourself and say thank you
This
for
has been
having
amazing.
us. You know, say whatever you gotta say. You got 2 minutes, Shay said.
Yeah.
So you got something to
It's
say.
shut
You
up and
business
stop
owner,
them all.
breathe. Get this. Get this.
Heading back into the main space?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right. Is it still live? Are we just talking?
Is it red?
It's red.
Oh,
It's
you
on.
guys are still
Wait,
live.
say what you gotta say. Give them their opportunity. Say bye, guys.
See you later. That's Yoli Cox.
Yes. That was awesome, guys.
That was
Good
so much
energy.
fun.
Thanks for playing along.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was good energy.
That was fun.
It let your whole